Who says you need experience to win in the postseason? The Rays proved once again they're no fluke.
I like the attitude. I like where we're going about our business.
Now the White Sox must dig themselves out of an 0-2 hole.
We're against the wall. We got to fight like a cat.
And the clubhouse showing no signs of concern either.
We're veterans. We know what it takes, and we know we've been through this before, and we know it's not over until it's finished.
But it's no easy task. Just 5 teams have overcome this deficit in divisional series history. Game 3, Rays, White Sox, next.
Welcome to U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, and welcome to the South Side. The American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. It's Game 3 between the American League East champion Tampa Bay Rays as they face off against the American League Central champion Chicago White Sox. Hi everybody, Don Orsillo along with Harold Reynolds. Welcome to Game 3. The Tampa Bay Rays taking each of the first 2 games, and they're looking tough to beat right now.
Well, they're doing everything that you want from a young club. They're playing like veterans, but they're full of package. They can do everything. They got great starting pitching. We saw that from righty and lefty. Then they've had big hits, the big home run ball. And then they showed us off their speed, doing everything, first to third, scoring. And then the defense has been terrific. They've done everything you can ask for a ball club. And no surprise when the bullpen comes in and does the job that they have a 2-0 lead as we head into Game 3.
Chicago White Sox have had plenty of base runners, but timely hitting has been an issue, and certainly their backs are to the wall.
Well, for the White Sox to win, it's a base-to-base team. They have to hit with power, and they have not provided power, and they haven't had timely hitting. You look at the bottom line right there, 19 hits, 16 of them singles. They're not going to win if that's the case. They have to provide the power. They've only scored 6 runs in those 2 games.
Ozzie Guillen turned to John Danks in a big way for the 1-game playoff. He came up big. They look to him again today. He'll be matched up against Matt Garza, an 11-game winner during the regular season. It is pumped and jacked in Chicago today. Game 3 is next.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum. Drink responsibly. Captain's Orders. By State Farm. At home or away, State Farm is there. Call, click, or visit and start saving today. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Prescription Flomax.
You're in a blackout in Chicago. It worked in the 1-game playoff. They're hoping for the same kind of magic today as they try to get game number 3 of this series. The fans all in black as the White Sox return home into U.S. Cellular Field, where they had a good bunch of success during the regular season. Today's coverage of Game 3 between the White Sox and Rays is brought to you in HD by DirecTV, delivering the most sports in HD. Well, on this day where we've already had a bit of a rain delay, what's in store for the rest of the day weather-wise? Mark Fine?
Well, Don, I do have good news. Obviously, the bad news is that we were delayed. They had the tarp on the field until about a half hour, 40 minutes ago, took it off. But Roger Bossard, the head groundskeeper, has Doppler radar in his office just behind home plate. There is nothing behind the line of showers that has already pushed through. You saw no green, no yellow, no rain, so not expecting any problems once we get this thing underway, guys.
All right, Mark, it is 58 degrees to begin here today. Right now it is cloud covered above, but it is lightened significantly as the White Sox are certainly very glad to be home after a tough time in Tampa Bay.
Well, it's nice for them to come back, and you're going to have a little slower surface. I think it might slow down Tampa's running game. Talk about Roger Bossard and his family. He's a 3rd-generation groundkeeper. His grandpa, it started with the Indians in 1931. And all the little tricks that you had, you know, tilt the line, do all those things. He was the guy that kind of started that. Roger, in the last 15 new ballparks that have been out in the big leagues now, he's done 10 of those fields for everybody else. Seattle, Arizona, he's been all over the place. So he's a great groundskeeper, and that's why we're ready to play today.
Harold, you were here for the 1-game playoff. How does this compare as far as the energy goes here in the stands?
Well, it's awful loud, and you know, in the 1-game playoff, I think everybody was kind of wondering what might happen. I think today they've come here knowing that they're going to have the support, and it's electric. It's the playoffs. I mean, everybody's going to be excited regardless.
Well, we heard Ozzie Guillen talking a little bit about Javier Vazquez and him perhaps not being a big game pitcher, is trying to light a fire under him, saying today that John Danks is a big game pitcher, and he has been this season as he and the White Sox head onto the field here today in Chicago.
Well, Danks has been terrific. And you know, the funny thing is he's following Burley, and they pitch very similar in style. It'd be interesting to see if the approach that the Rays hitters have facing John Danks. But he's young, he loves the ball, and he's going to go right after guys. He asks for the baseball, and he'll go get them.
Well, as the White Sox take the field, we'll check out the Tampa Bay Rays starting 9. It's Akinori Iwamura, who's having a very good series, leading it off at second base with B.J. Upton in center field. Carlos Pena is going to go, at least try to today, as he bats third with Evan Longoria at third base. Carl Crawford has bounced back nicely in left field. Willie Ibar is the DH, with Deoner Navarro doing the catching. Rocco Baldelli's in the starting lineup for the Rays. He bats 8th. And Jason Bartlett at his number 9 spot has been very productive so far, 3 hits in the series. Now on the mound today, as you mentioned, it is John Danks, who Ozzie Guillen hopes can grab a win here today in Game 3.
Well, it'll be interesting how he throws. He threw last game on 3 days rest, and you saw the stuff he had. It was great. I think the big thing for John Danks will be to be aggressive. Throw strikes. He's going to throw a cutter. He has a little bit of a slur, but his best pitch is going to be that cutter he busts in on right-hand hitters. And here's the defense that'll be playing behind him. Ken Griffey Jr. returns to the lineup out in center, and you can see Dwayne Wise is in left instead of center. And then Orlando Cabrera has been the key. And again, today, with Danks pitching, the left side of that infield is going to be critical. And then A.J. Przinsky calling the game, and I think that's important. You see Danks on the mound, but A.J. Przinsky handles the whole game for him. You'll very rarely see Danks shake him off. So this is A.J. Przinsky calling how he thinks they should attack the Rays hitters.
About a 20-minute rain delay to get this thing started today, but we're ready to go. The lights are on at U.S. Cellular Field, and Akinori Iwamura is standing in. Soulfire, he has had a very good series. Of course, a home run in this series. An opposite field shot, 3 runs batted in. As John Danks toes the rubber, and the first pitch of this one is in there for strike 1, and we're underway. Akinori Iwamura, then B.J. Upton, and Carlos Pena here in the first inning. To center field and in for a base hit. So Iwamura aboard to begin things here in the top half of the first inning.
Well, he's really been impressive in that leadoff spot, and for him, it's a natural position in the batting order for him to be in. You see, he gets a ball. This ball's trying to get it up. You see where it's down. You see, he missed the target quite a bit, but Danks is the guy that's going to get down. They wanted to get that ball up and in on him. He left it back out over the plate.
So lead runner on here for the Rays in the first inning with B.J. Upton coming up next.
Well, I felt like coming into this game, you know, the White Sox never had a chance to set their rotation. Had they would have split Burley and Danks up. I think it's a huge disadvantage to be facing the similar type of pitcher back-to-back days for the White Sox. For the Rays, you're loving it.
So for you, a lot of these guys have already had 4 at-bats against this style pitcher.
Absolutely.
As B.J. Upton stands in. Upton with 9 home runs during the regular season, 67 runs batted in. Like Burley, Danks works pretty quickly, not as quickly as Burley. There are very few in the major league level who work as quickly as Mark Burley does. Upton fouls it off to the right, back and out of play, and it evens the count at 1-1.
You know, it's interesting how much the players are into the postseason. Talking with some of the players in the Tampa locker room earlier today, they didn't even know what the date was. You know, they were like, today's the 3rd, right? No, it's the 5th. You know, they had no idea. They're just so locked into what they're doing right now.
Those both teams taking the charter here after Game 2 worked out yesterday. And the rain delay certainly did not help folks today. Both in the dugout, both ready to go. Both starting pitchers were in there hoping to get warmed up. And thankfully for both teams, only having to wait about 20 minutes to get this thing started with the rain showers coming and going. So 1-2 to B.J. Upton, who strikes out. First strikeout for Danks. Upton is out number 1 of the first.
Well, the pitch that set that up was the pitch before. He threw a nice cutter for the call strike, and Upton thought that ball's not a strike. So it forces you as a hitter to have to attack when you think, maybe this isn't a pitch I want to hit, but I have to swing. And he ended up getting the strikeout right there.
So one down, and here comes Carlos Pena, who started the first game of this series and had to leave in the second inning. Of course, scratched his eye prior to game one and had some blurry vision that he had to deal with, could not deal with it. Was in the starting lineup for game two and was a late scratch before that game. And Joe Maddon certainly had his fingers crossed for this game. And here is Carlos Pena. The off day seemed to help him a lot.
Well, we talked about Mark Fine that scratched his eye. You know, it's the only person I could talk to that I knew that had done that. It took a couple days, and here it is 2 days later for Carlos. But he's tried everything, glasses, eye drops, you name it. He wanted to get back in that lineup, and it seems to work today.
We'll check on Iwamura, who's back on the bag at first. Well, John Danks, who is on the mound today for the White Sox, pitched brilliantly in the one-game playoff. 8 innings pitched, just 2 hits, no runs allowed. He walked 3, struck out 4. It was exactly what Ozzie Guillen needed. And he's looking for more of the same today. And he falls behind as he is ahead 2-0 in the count.
And you can see the surface, how deep they play on. This is double play depth. Again, not anticipating Pena to run very much, but they've got a little bit of a shift on him, even taking away that hole. Obviously, Ramirez has got great range, but I thought it was interesting. Cabrera standing right in the middle of the diamond.
Most teams will go to the full shift for Carlos Pena, who grounds it by the first baseman Konerko into right field. Iwamura heads for third base. Dye's throw will be cut off, and the Rays have runners at first and third with 1 out here in the first inning.
Well, that's what you try to do as a left-handed hitter when you got the first baseman holding. You look for that hole. If I can yank something through that hole, watch. He doesn't hit it extremely hard, but he hits it in the right spot, and that's what you try to do. You try to hit that 4 hole, and now they've got a first and third situation. I thought great base running here. You know, Jermaine Dye's got a strong arm, but the grass, because of the rain, slowed the baseball down a little bit.
So first and third, 1 down, and here comes Evan Longoria. Longoria, who had home runs in each of his first 2 at-bats in the postseason, has gone 4 for 7 so far in the series as he takes ball 1 from Danks. Danks has had trouble getting ahead here to the first couple of hitters that he has faced.
Well, it's interesting. You know, you remember when CC Sabathia started throwing 3 days, and went to Philadelphia, and they bombed it. Jenks is on that same type of schedule, and you just wonder how long can you go to the well like that.
Little blooper, short right field. Out is Ramirez. In is Dye. Dye will make the running catch and fire it back in as Iwamura returns to third base. Well, that appeared Ramirez was not going to get there. It's sure a good thing for the White Sox that Jermaine Dye got a pretty good jump and is able to make the grab.
That's a great catch right there. This is an inning saver. This ball's going to fall in. They're going to end up being on first and second, and they're going to have a run score. But Jermaine Dye made a nice play. And watch the presence of mind and know who is on third base to get rid of it and get it back into the diamond.
So a very big second out here for John Danks and the White Sox. As Carl Crawford will be next.
Now, a lot of times, you have a guy like Danks who throws a cutter and is around the plate a lot. You load your lineup with left-handed hitters to take that away. Pena's got a base hit. Iwamura got a base hit. And he's getting the right-handers out, and you're looking for the left-handers to generate your offense, which is usually a strange thought, but that's what's really happening right now.
Tough to tell how much the Rays are going to get from Carl Crawford in the postseason. So far, he's been pretty good. A tapper this time. Back to Danks, who gets out of the first inning jam. The Rays threaten but do not score. The White Sox are coming up in Chicago. Back at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, the Rays don't score in the first as the White Sox are coming up. MLB postseason in Espanol. Live MLB postseason Spanish language feed available via SAP on your television remote. Orlando Cabrera about to lead it off here for the White Sox in the bottom of the first inning. Cabrera, Brzezinski, and Dye face Matt Garza. As Cabrera, who led off 129 games during the regular season, has done that here in all 3 games of this American League Division Series. After the first pitch, chops it to third where Longoria was in on the grass, and he throws out Cabrera. Let's check out the White Sox starting 9 for this game 3. Orlando Cabrera, we just saw, getting the start at shortstop. A.J. Krasinski, who spent the bulk of the year batting in this 2 spot, does for the first time in the series. Jermaine Dye in right field. With Jim Thome, the DH. Paul Konerko sliding up as he's at first, with Ken Griffey Jr. back in the starting lineup in center field. Alexei Ramirez at second base. Dwayne Wise in left field bats 8th. He had a big 3-run home run in the first game. And Juan Uribe at third base bats 9th. A.J. Pierzynski, as Ozzie Guillen pointed out before the game, he likes him in this 2 spot, used him a lot in this scenario. And this appears to be the better hitting lineup that he has the chance to use. We saw Nick Swisher start in game 2, and the White Sox had plenty of base runners. That wasn't the problem. The problem was certainly getting some timely hitting, and they could never do that, stranding a lot of base runners, leaving a lot of guys at second and third. And for my money, this is the better lineup for Ozzie today, and certainly he feels the same way.
No, and I agree with you, and I like Krasinski in the 2 spot because he handles the bat. You know, they can do a lot of things with him. He can hit it in the hole like we saw Pena do, and he can also hit and run when he's at the plate, and he has some power also.
This is popped up third base way as Evan Longoria steps into foul ground and puts it away for out number 2. Well, Matt Garza, and the key for him, as Joe Madden said, certainly is the first and second inning. If he can settle in, that's when he's at his best, especially if he can establish his fastball.
Yeah, and the fastball is going to be the key. You'll see a fastball, slider, and a change, and different things from him. But the key is the fastball. He's aggressive. He likes to challenge with the fastball, but if he tries to trick people, then he's going to have a long game. But right now, he's got 2 outs on 2 fastballs.
So 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Jermaine Dye. Dye takes ball 1. 34 home runs during the regular season for Dye. He's had a very good series so far, 5 for 9.
And Jermaine's always been involved in the community. Also, he is their Roberto Clemente representative for the Man of the Year award, and that will be announced at the World Series.
To left, Carl Crawford in a step or 2 to put it away, and a very quick 1-2-3 first inning for Matt Garza. The fine start for the Rays pitcher. We're scoreless after 1. Second inning back in the south side of Chicago. We're scoreless after 1, and it's 6, 7, and 8 for the Rays here in the top half of the second inning. White Sox fans certainly glad to have the White Sox back and trying to cheer them on to a Game 3 victory. After a tough time, certainly at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, as Billy Ibar leading it off. 2 quick strikes from John Danks.
And they weren't just 2 quick strikes either. It was a 1 away and then the cutter in. Excellent job of moving the ball around. If he can do that, it's going to be tough to hit.
Ibar bloops one to short right field. Jermaine Dye again wandering in. This one an easier play, and he makes it for the first out of the second inning.
Well, it's a nice job of pitching, and now you get 0-2, and on a guy that works fast, seems like it's even faster, because it's like, hold it, let me gather my thoughts here for a second. Next thing you know, he's in the windup, and the ball's coming at you again.
So 1 down here in the second inning, and it brings up Deanna Navarro. Navarro with 7 homers during the regular season, 3 hits so far in the postseason. And Danks throwing more strikes. Danks has actually been tougher against righties than lefties. Right-handers hitting at 240 against him. Lefties 264 as Navarro sends one to the track and the wall in a hop as he heads for second base. Wise digs it out and the throw is not going to be in time. A 1-out double for Deanna Navarro.
Well, he got a hanging breaking ball. I thought he was going to come back with a cutter and pitch basically the same pattern he just did to Ibar. But when you're facing a guy that has a cutter, you're looking for any kind of tilt on a baseball. So sometimes a slider is the ball that you're going to hit, and you're going to get out in front, and you're going to pull it down the line like he did right there. He kept it fair, and he ends up with the double.
Well, Navarro's had good numbers against Danks. He's now 5 for 9 with 3 doubles. And stands at second base with 1 out for Rocco Baldelli, who takes strike 1. Rocco getting a start here in Game 3. 1 for 5 so far in the series. On the ground right side to Ramirez. On to first for the out of Baldelli. Navarro does move along to third base, but he's there now with 2 down.
I think Danks is doing a great job of moving the ball in and out. Right there, Baldelli comes up. He's got an open stance, so you think, okay, I don't want to throw my cutter in there. And he gets him to roll the ground ball to second base. They're going to have to slow his pace down. Sometimes you have to step out of the batter's box, slow a guy down a little bit, because he's in a great rhythm. And that's not just this game. It goes back to the last couple ball games he's been in.
Here's the number 9 man for the Rays, Jason Bartlett. In there for strike 1. He's getting ahead more here in the second inning than he did in the first.
And you love it when you play behind a guy like this. Not many mistakes are made behind Danks because he gets the ball, and here it comes.
In the dirt gathered by Pierzynski, who's able to smother it. And it's a ball and a strike to Bartlett.
And one of the reasons you're able to have a pitcher work fast, you know, we've talked about that with Burley, and now we're talking about it with Danks, is because of the catcher. When you're in unison with your catcher and you don't have to shake pitches off, you can get a sign and get rid of it. And you watch, AJ puts down a sign, and he may, there's no shake. He's looking off, see how he wants to defend. Here comes the changeup.
Bartlett takes ball 2, and it's 2-1. Danks dominated the Rays this season. He was 2-1 with a 1.86 earned run average. For the Rays, they were able to just muster a .219 batting average against him in 3 starts during the regular season. So a grounded foul, and it evens the count at 2-2. From Austin, Texas, coming over from the Rangers, part of this good rotation for the White Sox.
Well, he's really changed his pitching style. When he first got here, he was over the top, hard. That's all he did was just bring a straight fastball. And then he got around Mark Burley, who's rubbed off on him. He's been able to learn that cutter and really pound that strike zone.
2-2 to Bartlett, just misses, and it's a full count.
Well, Bartlett's been a difference maker on this team. What a great pickup. He and Garza both coming over have changed this whole ball club. They're not here without those 2 players.
The Rays stranded 2 in the first inning. They've got a runner at third with 2 outs as Bartlett will take the walk. It's the first free pass served up by John Danks.
And I don't think he was trying to pitch him around him per se. We've watched a lot of that in the last couple ball games. I think he wanted Bartlett as the guy he wanted to get out. He just missed on his location right there.
So it's first and third, 2 down. And another inning in which the Rays have 2 base runners. Back up top for Akinori Iwamura, who got it started in the first inning with a single to center field. 1 of 3 hits already for the Rays against Danks. Strike 1.
So you watch some guys take a pitch and you think he's on it. I mean, he that just was not a pitch that he liked to hit right there. He's going to put the ball in play.
Ball 1, and it evens up at 1-1 to Akinori Iwamura. I know you had the chance to talk to Iwamura for a long time before the game. We talked about his transition, a guy who made 22 errors last year. This year he takes on a new position at second base and has been very, very good. Just 7 errors during the regular season. But he's been a spark plug at the top of this order for the Rays all season long. Takes the strike, and he's down 1-2.
Well, there's a number of things we talked about. Defensively, he used to be a catcher. And so this last August, they told him that he was going to be playing second base. He went home, he said he took 1 month off, and then he took an hour and a half, 2 hours every day taking ground balls and working on footwork.
First and third, 2 down, the 1-2. Misses for ball 2, 2-2.
Well, you don't want to go 3-2, because if you go 3-2, now you know Bartlett's going to be running and hits a ball in the gap, he's going to score. So you want to try to make this your execution pitch right here to get the out.
Navarro at third base, Bartlett at first base, 2 down. Iwamura rolls it softly right side. Konerko will pick and throw, but it's all going to take too mumuch time. And from third base comes Diana Navarro to put the Rays on top 1-0. Not hit hard, but placed well. And as Konerko had to try to go get it, they expected Danks to get over there quickly, and he couldn't get there in time. And it's the Rays on top 1-0.
That's a tough play either way around. That's just one of those base hits. Now, why this is able to happen, you see he reaches, and he's almost a foot out of the box, and he's got great speed. They're not going to run him down. The only way they were going to be able to defend that was if Danks could have possibly got there, but he can't get there because that's just not the way he's falling off the mound. That's just one of those plays that happens in baseball. You can call it a lucky hit, you can call it perfect placement, whatever. Bottom line is the base hit and an RBI.
Iwamura now 2 for 2 in the game as he picks up an RBI, and the Rays strike first here in the second inning. Now B.J. Upton. Out. Inside, and this one kicks away, did not hit him, and the base runners will advance. So to third base goes Bartlett. Iwamura to second as he was able to elude that pitch.
I thought that hit him. Maybe it hit Przinsky. That hit something to ricochet the ball that way. Here's a good look at it. We'll see real close what happens. Oh, it hit off his wrist. It's interesting. Sometimes you lose a ball. That was a cutter. They may have got crossed up on the signs in that situation. Well, you got a bird that was flying in. I saw that earlier, too. These guys were telling me that in the truck. See the bird fly in right here, and then it disappears? I don't know if that was what maybe distracted A.J. I think maybe it was a miscommunication with the signs because they talked about it afterwards.
Well, it is a pass ball assessed to A.J. Przinsky that now has Rays runners at second and third with 2 down. Count of 1-0 to B.J. Upton. Upton lifts the fly ball to left. Oval for Dwayne Wise. Puts it away for out number 3. But it is the Tampa Bay Rays who strike first and take an early 1-0 lead. Last half of the second inning back at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago. Tampa Bay on top 1-0 as they grab a run in the top half of the second inning. The White Sox have the middle of their order coming up 4, 5, and 6. Jim Thome, Paul Konerko, and Ken Griffey Jr. Thome 1 for 9 so far in the series. Takes ball 1, the full shift on the right side for the Rays. Only Evan Longoria, the third baseman, left on the left side.
Well, you're going to see power versus power in this matchup. Garza's going to bring the fastball, and Thome's a good fastball hitter.
Well, for Matt Garza, career highs this season in starts, innings, wins, and strikeouts, and a career best 245 opponent average against him. You mentioned the trade, and what a big trade it was for the Rays, getting Jason Bartlett, their everyday shortstop, and Garza, who's in the rotation, for Delman Young. Swing and a miss. And there's the challenge you were talking about. 96 that time.
Just here it is. 2-0. I'm bringing you my best stuff. Let it go. That's just good country hard baseball right there.
Thome takes ball 3, and it's 3-1. For Garza, had kind of a tough end of the season. 3 straight no decisions at the end of the year, the 5.52 ERA, and never made it past the 5th inning. So he did not wrap up the regular season all that much. (3-1) to Thome. Swing and a miss. Challenged him again. 96 again, and a full count.
I guess that bird knew something we didn't know because he's running around there saying he's not going to catch up to it anyway. Not turning that one around. I'm in okay position.
For a pull hitter, the likes of Jim Thome, he's in exactly the wrong spot.
You would think, but he's not catching up that 96 cheese right now either. So the bird's feeling pretty good where he's at.
Thome fouls it off, and it hangs at 3-2. How's the bird doing that Randy Johnson hit?
Not very good.
No, for Matt Garza, home was much better for him. 7-3 with a 2.89 ERA. On the road, he was 4-6 with a 4.53 ERA. On the road today in Game 3 of this American League Division Series.
Well, this is interesting right here. All of a sudden, he's shaking off pitches. Now, remember, we're talking about he's going to challenge you at fastball. He starts trying to trick people. It's when he gets in trouble. You just threw 2 fastballs by the guy in the 2-0 count and a 3-1 count.
Gets him by it again, and this time at 98 miles per hour. Gets Toming for a strikeout for Garza, 1 down.
I mean, reach back and let it go. Here's the defense behind him. I like the challenge right there, but he's got some defense that can carry the load for him, too. The outfield is like a track meet. Crawford, Upton, and Baldelli all cover great ground. Up the middle, Bartlett and Iwamura. We talked about his transition to second base. Pena back in the lineup at first, and then Garza and Navarro. It's been an interesting relationship, how that's developed through the season.
1 down as Garza's retired the first 4 White Sox he has faced. Paul Konerko. Had a home run in the first game of the series, did Konerko. 22 home runs during the regular season.
Well, he's the one guy that's been consistent down the stretch. He got hot at the end of the year. He's been hurt most of the season and is finally starting to get healthy, and you're starting to see the production of that health.
Just 122 games during the regular season. He sprained right knee, had a strained oblique. And as a result, finishing under 30 home runs and 90 RBIs for the first time since '03. First time that he was on the DL, they strained oblique. Also a sore right thumb mixed in there as well. And ended up in the cleanup spot in just 48 games during the season compared to 117 last year. Hops it up in the infield as the catcher, Navarro, discards the mask, has to jump over the bat and make the catch and foul ground. 2 down. Now, you mentioned the dust-up between Garza and Deanna Navarro, and this was back on June the 9th. It started on the mound in kind of a heated conversation. It was broken up by Jim Hickey. It continued at the end of the inning in the dugout. This stuff happens all the time. It just happened to be caught on camera, and it continued into the runway.
Let him go.
For Garza, he points to it as something that really worked well for him.
Well, now they're best of friends, you know, and sometimes that's what you do. You get in a fight with the closest people that you care about.
It was kind of a turning point for Garza during the season, shaking off Navarro much less since then, and certainly things working out for him.
Does that mean Navarro won then? He's shaking him off.
Well, 5-2 with a 2.51 ERA and 9 starts the season with Riggins, who was catching him before that. And he's only gone 6-7 and 20 starts with Deanna Navarro. So the numbers don't really back up what he has said so far, but certainly a unifying thing for them during the course of the season. And Griffey Jr. back in the starting lineup for the White Sox. Thought it was interesting, talking with Ozzie Guillen before the game when Ken Griffey Jr. came over from the Cincinnati Reds. What he really wanted from him was his presence in the clubhouse for the other guys. And certainly he wanted him to do well, but he also felt that just his presence alone, and he was going to rely on him heavily for that presence, and he has been huge for the White Sox. Inside, 3-1 now to Griffey.
Yeah, his production hasn't been what he would like to have had it be. But he being Junior or Ozzie is the way to look at it. But in the clubhouse, Ozzie said, I've never had to worry about Junior, you're playing today or you're not playing today. He's always showed up, and he's always been no complaints. And this bird just continues to agitate. That's what everybody's yelling about right now, is the bird just right out in the middle of the mound. And because it's Tampa Bay running the bird off, everybody's yelling at him. But back to Junior. His leadership and his presence, it did change the clubhouse. And I think the one thing that happens to a ball club when you make a trade of that magnitude, when they did, all of a sudden you go, oh, the front office is serious about winning. So sometimes that's the message that the front office has to send.
He's ahead in the count, 3-1. Swinging a foul tip, and it's a full count now. It's the third time that Griffey Jr. has been in the postseason, and the first time since 1997. In his great career, he has never made it to the World Series.
Let's see if he challenges him with a fastball right here. He did drop a little curveball before.
Lines it to center. B.J. Upton is not going to get there. Drops in front of him for a base hit. First base runner of the day for the Chicago White Sox. Well, there have been several things to point to this season, Mark Fine, but certainly the fight between Matt Garza and Deanna Navarro is one of them.
Oh, no doubt. I did ask Deanna Navarro about the fight. He said they're great now. They really have no problem at all. But interesting, Harold mentioned him shaking him off a lot today. I asked Navarro about the preparation for the game. He says Garza's worse than any of them. He goes through every batter. He has a book about 3 inches thick that he gave Navarro. And Navarro says, I gave it right back to him. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Well, I saw him in the clubhouse when we were in there earlier today. He was definitely studying what he wants to do with guys.
Let's say Ramirez out after that first pitch, not waiting around as he fouls it off.
Well, Garza actually doesn't match up real well with the White Sox. They are a very good fastball hitting team, and he is going to challenge with the fastball. We've seen it already with Tommy. 96, 98. And when you have a 96-mile-an-hour fastball and you can hit the gun at 98 at times, you have to challenge with your best pitch. Nothing more frustrating than playing behind a guy when he starts rolling the ball up there instead of challenging guys.
Alexei Ramirez, who does not wait around a lot. He's not waiting around here as he grounds it to short. Bartlett, the easy way to second base to conclude the second inning. We played 2 in game 3. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Well, the better chances so far for Tampa Bay. They have left 4 men on through the first 2 innings and do have a run. Well, they've had their chances against Danks as Carlos Pena leads it off to begin things in the top half of the 3rd inning. Pena with a single to right field his first time up.
I guess that answered the eye problem real quick. Having to leave the game the other day with the eye injury.
Certainly frustrating for Carlos. You wait all season, you finally get into the postseason, and started that first game but had to leave. Signing a big contract this year during spring training, a 3-year, $24 million contract after the 46 home runs for him last year in his first season in a Rays uniform. Chops it foul.
I was speaking with him earlier this summer about what is the difference between you now and in the past, and he said the only thing that he has done different is he learned how to hit within the strike zone, not chasing pitches out of the zone, staying within himself. And obviously experience is a big part of that. Plus, with experience comes guys you're seeing before you get a chance to figure out how they might be trying to pitch you.
Swings and misses at the 1-2. That's one thing he will do is strike out. He does here. Second K for John Danks.
Great adjustment by Danks right there. This time he goes to the breaking pitch. Watch this pitch right here. A little bit of a change and just off-speed pitch, I should say. But that was the difference. A lot of guys will not throw a changeup to left-handed hitters. We've seen it more in the last few years because of the success of Cole Hamels and Jamie Moyer and Danks himself and Burley. Guys like that will throw that changeup to left-handed hitters, but a lot of guys don't.
And he's out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Evan Longoria taking ball 1 from Danks. Longoria flied out to right field first time up, and a nice running catch by Jermaine Dye. And the ground foul outside of 3rd, and it's a ball and a strike now to Longoria.
Well, what we've seen since the first game with Longoria is they've moved the ball out of the center of the plate. First game, he swung at first pitch, home run. Next at bat, another home run. Then he got the base hit back up the middle. They're starting to move the ball off of the plate instead of challenging him in until he gets a strike. Now he's got a strike, and here comes a cutter on the inside half.
Longoria lifts a fly ball to left field. Dwayne Wise towards the line. Makes the catch in fair ground for the second out.
And why that's so big, when you have a strike, now you got to respect all the other pitches in your mind. You can't just sit on a pitch. That's why that cutter right there got in just enough that he wasn't able to touch it out of the ballpark. But if he goes in there early on the first pitch, he's sitting something inside, that ball might be in the seats.
So 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Carl Crawford, who tapped one back to the mound his first time up, is 0 for 1. Crawford, who had been out prior to this series since August the 9th, underwent surgery on his right middle finger, a tendon problem, and did not play the rest of the regular season. Rehabbed very quickly and instructionally in St. Petersburg. 2 games and 9 at-bats, and has played all 3 games of this series.
And if you look at Crawford's swing, and most left-handers, your right hand is the hand that's going to pull that bat through and provide the speed and power. The top hand is basically on for the ride. And when you hurt that bottom hand, particularly your middle finger, you can't grip the bat the way you'd like to.
Cabrera with a bobble at short, got to hurry up with Crawford running, and he just does get it there in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for John Daggs. 2.5 done. The Rays on top 1-0.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
It's the bottom of the 3rd inning of Game 3 of this American League Division Series. Don Orsillo, Harold Reynolds, and Mark Fine back at U.S. Cellular Field, where Dwayne Wise leads it off and be followed by Uribe and Cabrera. It's a ball outside to Wise, who get a start in the first game of the series. Saw Brian Anderson in the mix in the outfield for Game 2, and Wise, who had homered in the first game of the series, gets a start in Game 3. Strike, and it's 1-1.
Ozzie had him at the top of the order because he wanted to provide a little speed and mix things up, but he just wasn't being productive enough. He said, yes, he hit a 3-run home run, but he wasn't doing all the other things I wanted him to do at the top of the order, so they went back with Brzezinski hitting in the 2 spot.
Wise, who hit at .248 in 57 games in his first season with the White Sox. Had 6 homers, 18 runs batted in. He's 31 years of age, from Columbia, South Carolina. Three and 1 to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
This is where Garza gets himself in trouble. You got a guy who's not traditionally going to take you out of the ballpark. You saw him challenge Tomey. He challenged Griffey. He challenged Konerko. Here's the fastball, hit it. Now he's nibbling with a change-up. Here comes another fastball now. But it was a good count for a guy that's going to make contact. Power hitters are going to swing through fastball, swing and miss every now and then. Little guys like this, when he gets in a fastball count, he's more likely going to put the ball in play. But he put himself in a bad situation by nibbling. Change-up, curveball, and now he's in a 3-2 count.
Especially when you're living in the 96 to 98 mile-per-hour range, and that's where he's been. 3-2 misses. It's the hard stuff at 97, but it's inside. The first walk allowed by Matt Garza.
Well, he shook off 2 pitches before he just settled in on a fastball. And, you know, that's his first mistake, I would say. I'd call that a mistake, because that's a guy you got to go after. And now you've allowed the part of the order with the Uribe coming to the plate. That's the part of the order where they bunt, they hit and run, they manufacture, they do things, and now you've allowed that to be a possibility.
There's Juan Uribe, 1 for 6 so far in the series, batting out of the number 9 spot. And at the lip of the grass at 3rd base is Evan Longoria. Pena holding on Wise at first. To first base, and Pena tries to turn it into a double play, but cannot. Just back is Wise on the liner that's taken in by Pena for the first out of the inning.
That is great base running right here. See how he shuffles off? That's the natural shuffle. Now this ball, because Pena had to bend backwards a little bit and gather his balance, he wasn't able to beat Wise back. This is a tough ball to react to. You don't know if it's going to be by him or not. He does a great job of freezing, and immediately the explosion to get back to the base was the difference in that. Very nice base running.
So 1 down, Wise still at first base, and the top of the order, second time through now for the White Sox. Orlando Cabrera grounding out to 3rd base, first time up. He takes strike 1 from Garza.
Well, I was going to say, sorry about that, but Cabrera swinging at the first pitch last at bat almost forced him to have to take a pitch this time. Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry about that.
I was just going to tell you about his last month of the year. He ended up finishing incredibly well during the regular season. Cabrera hitting at .330 in 27 games in September. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, according to Jeff Kellogg, first base umpire.
A very nice pitch here. This is a slider, but let's see if he went or not. Yeah, I think you got to say he went on that one. You agree?
I do. So Cabrera, as a result, finds himself down 0-2. Fouled off to the right, backing out of play, still 0-2.
Now, I want to say something here, too, about Garza. He's got great stuff. You saw the slider. He's got the curveball to get a guy out on. So you're not going to just sit there by big league hitters and throw fastballs. So if you're thinking at home, I'm saying, oh, just throw a fastball. No, you can't do that. But there are certain situations you do have to throw your fastball to establish everything else.
Cabrera chases after the 0-2 pitch and strikes out. For Garza, his second K of the game, and there's 2 down.
I mean, that's electric breaking ball right there. That's just nasty. But it's set up because of the fastball 0-2 that Cabrera had fouled off. And now he's thinking that's going to be a fastball and has to chase. It's tough to hit 0-2.
So 2 down in the inning. Wise had walked to begin the inning, but he's still at first base with 2 down. A.J. Pierzynski fouled out to Evan Longoria, the third baseman, his first time up. Fly ball foul down the left field line. That'll get back into the seats.
See, here's another problem that the White Sox have in scoring runs. Weiss leads off with a walk. One of the guys that can run for you. He hasn't attempted to even draw any attention. There's not been a throw over. He hasn't tried to run, nothing. And you already got 2 outs and a strike on the hitter now. And there's been no attempt anywhere. That's the stagnant part of their offense that kills the White Sox. That's why they have to have power or they lose games.
Pierzynski fouls off another, and it's 0-2. Garza was not getting ahead of hitters to begin things. The first 8 batters he faced, he only had 2 first pitch strikes. But starting to get ahead of the White Sox now, and he's ahead of Pierzynski, 0-2. Jeff Cox, the third base coach for the White Sox, reeling off the signs as Wise at first had started then stopped.
You see the cotton in Garza's ears kind of blocking out the noise. Get a better look next time, but right there, you see that?
He will not be hearing this White Sox crowd today.
He won't be hearing us either. So I can say a few more things then, I guess, huh?
Pierzynski takes ball 1-2. That's dangerous too, though, because his friends will tell him whatever you say.
Oh yeah, Harold said you should have been using the fastball more. I can hear it now. They want to email me, just email DON.
Wise at first, 2 down. Pierzynski down 1-2. There goes Wise. The pitch is up. Navarro's throw in the dirt will skip into shallow center field. No further advance for Wise, as it is backed up nicely, but he takes off. Pitch was up for Navarro, and into scoring position goes Dwayne Wise.
Well, this is what I was thinking might happen early in the inning. And that was a high pitch with the ability to maybe throw him out. Now watch the shortstop. This is a veteran move right here by Marlin. Now he's not trying to necessarily block him off, but he is. You don't want him to get up and go.
So 2 down, Wise in scoring position now. First base runner that has reached second base so far for Chicago. White Sox just 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position in the series. It has been a struggle in this spot and has driven Ozzie Guillen nuts so far, not only in the series but on the season.
Well, this has been such an up and down lineup, and I know they've shuffled the lineup a lot too, and sometimes when you're shuffling the lineup, you don't get into a groove either. He's tried everything to try to get this offense going.
Brzezinski grounds it back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Dwayne Wise being waved around, a bobble in center, and the game is tied at 1. Exactly what the White Sox needed, a 2-out RBI, and they get it from A.J. Brzezinski to tie the game.
Well, the stolen base set that opportunity up right there. A nice piece of hitting by Brzezinski. Upton's not going to have a play no matter how you look at it. There's 2 outs. He's swinging on the crack of the bat, so you're not going to throw the guy out. Nice piece of hitting, but he left the ball right out over the middle. And this is a breaking ball, but no play at all. You see him kick the ball right here, but he's already past third base by the time he's ready to pick it up. We got a ball game. The speed of the White Sox, the difference. Who would have ever thought that?
Well, you generally expect the long ball, 235 home runs during the regular season for the White Sox, best in the majors. Wise getting into scoring position with 2 outs in the inning, comes around on the single by Brzezinski. Now you get into the heart of this White Sox order, Jermaine Dye. Up top for ball 1. Dye flied out to left field his first time up.
The other thing that happened is with the walk to Wise, it put Garza into the stretch. And he hadn't been in the stretch the whole game, and it took him a little bit out of his rhythm. He struggled this half inning to locate pitches.
Locates that for strike 1, and it's 1-1.
Found that a lot of starters really are a lot more comfortable, it seems like to me, when they're in the windup as opposed to being in the stretch. For whatever reason that might be, I don't know why, but maybe because they throw out of that position more.
Chop to third, picked nicely on the half hop by Longoria. Goes to the second for the force out that ends the inning. But the White Sox are on the board. They tie the game 1-1 after 3. Top half of the 4th inning. We've talked about it many times, Harold. If you play with A.J. Brzezinski, you like him. If you're on the other team, not so much.
Well, watch this here. Catcher's going, hold it, hey, you're not supposed to throw. AJ's something else. Those are the type of things that he does that just irritates people. But, you know, if you spend time around him, you love him. And he's one of those people that has that personality that you either love him or you can't stand him.
And Willie Ibar leads it off here in the top half of the 4th inning for the Rays, now in a tie game. As the White Sox get a run in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Carlton Fisk, of course, the Hall of Fame catcher for the White Sox for so many years. And monument here at U.S. Cellular Field. This one into center field as Ken Griffey Jr. takes care of out number 1. Don Cooper, the fine pitching coach for the White Sox, joined us in between innings. We asked him about his starter, John Danks, so far.
John Danks is pitching pretty well so far. You know, a little squib hit by Iwamura right there to drive in a run. Other than that, he's been pretty good.
You know, I've noticed how he's started to work a lot fast in the second half of the season. Is that from an influence from Mark Burley?
Well, you know, that's a part of it too. It's not the second half of the season. It's been all season. And certainly that's Burley's an influence. But you know, when you get people out and get them out quick, it always seems like you're working faster.
You guys
when
look
you're
really worried.
guys,
You're really worried down there?
Yeah, we're panicking down here. We're panicking.
Thanks, Don, very much.
All right, guys.
He had all kinds of things being thrown at him while he's trying to conduct that interview. It'd be all business, and guys are throwing seeds at him, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. They're flipping things at you, and perfect timing is the ball's flying in left field, dropping in front of Weiss, and he's kicking it around a little bit. Here's what was going on, actually.
Very difficult to conduct an interview when people are throwing stuff at you.
Good concentration, though. He kept talking.
Well, a 1-out single for Gianna Navarro. He's 2 for 2 and stands at first base with 1 away. Rocco Baldelli takes ball 1. Baldelli grounded out second first time up.
Yeah, don't be surprised you don't see a little hit and run or maybe something like that. Baldelli handles the bat well. I really think this is an opportunity for him to drop a bunt. I mean, you got the third baseman playing way back, and he's a guy that can drop that bunt.
We've seen some of the speed from Rocco Baldelli during the series as well, scoring from first base earlier in the series. And despite having some leg troubles, along with all the other problems that have kept him off the field from a physical standpoint, still has pretty good speed.
Yeah, I think that's the with the third baseman playing so deep, it's almost an indication that they think he can't run that well anymore. I don't know what they were thinking about. They saw it the other day when he scored from first on a ball, but that is just way too deep for Rocco not to take advantage of that.
We talked about it in game 2. The 26-year-old missing the first 4+ months of the season due to mitochondrial disorder, a condition that slows muscle recovery and causes fatigue. Spent the first 116 games of the season on the DL. It's the final 124 of last year as he pops it up in the infield around second base for Orlando Cabrera. And there's 2 down. It's been fun to be around Ozzie the last couple of days, hasn't it, Mark?
Oh, yeah, I just thought you guys would be interested to know he was the one throwing the seeds.
Oh,
you know,
surprises.
We've been talking about it. He has done everything he can to keep this team loose and make sure nobody gets tight. Obviously, they're a veteran ball club, so it's not a big deal to begin with, but it starts at the top. That's the kind of thing he's done continually throughout the series.
So he basically set him up then. He said, you do the interview and I'll throw the seeds on it.
You do it, I'm going to throw some stuff at you in the process. Have fun. As Jason Bartlett bats with 2 outs. It has been a lot of fun to be around Ozzie the last couple of days. You know, you ask him about leaders on the club. How about that comment when he said there's only one leader? It's the President of the United States. The rest of the people, you're just employees.
Yes.
Doesn't need a leader. Asked about chemistry. Doesn't believe in chemistry. 90+ wins will give you some chemistry.
Absolutely. And part of that's very true. I mean, if you're winning and you're on a winning ball club, there's always good chemistry.
He joked about his general manager, Kenny Williams, as well, saying that he gets guys that were good 30 years ago.
Yeah. They all end their career here.
They all retire with the White Sox. And of course, he's picking fun at Ken Griffey Jr. and some of the other guys they have picked up. But he has been great to be around. You know, I think you kind of got to check your feelings at the door, though, if you play for Ozzie Guillen, because he's going to say some stuff that may hurt your feelings from time to time if you're on the roster.
Well, the thing about it, the reason he gets away with it, he did it as a player. And he would dish it out, and he'd also receive it. And that's just been his personality. So anybody who's known Ozzie, and I've known him close to 30 years now, he's always been that way.
Jason Bartlett takes the strike, and it's 2-1.
The interesting thing here, Danks is settling in real nice, but he's also been able to neutralize their running game. We talked about the White Sox not running. With the left-hander here, he's got a pretty good move, and he's held everybody. Now, Navarro's not going to be a guy that runs that much, but he's neutralized the rest of the guys.
Shallow center out is Cabrera. Waves everybody off and puts it away to end the 4th inning. It'll be Jim Thome who'll lead it off when we come back in the bottom of the 4th in this 1-1 game from Chicago. The sellout crowd at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago. Their White Sox tied the game 1-1 last time they batted. Here they are in the bottom of the 4th inning to face Matt Garza in this 1-1 game. Jim Thome, Paul Konerko, and Ken Griffey Jr. to bat in the 4th inning. The Rays into their shift against Thome, who struck out in the 2nd inning. To right center field, BJ Upton headed back, looking up, and it's off the wall. Upton plays a very shallow center, runs it down as Thome will cruise into second base with a leadoff double to begin the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, this is going to be Garza's difficult inning because you're going into the veteran guys of the lineup and see the adjustments they made. Now, last time, remember, he challenged Thome with nothing but fastballs, 7 of them. So first pitch fastball, 96 miles an hour. What's Jim Thome thinking? He's not going to get this ball by me this time. This was a laser off the wall and kicked away from Upton, but ends up at second base anyway. But the key was Thome knew exactly what he wanted to hit, and he knew he was going to be challenged. We'll see what happens with Griffey and Konerko because he pitched the same way to them. Now you got to make the adjustment to some type of off-speed pitch.
Paul Konerko fouled out to Deanna Navarro first time up. That's his second look at Matt Garza. Second time in the game the White Sox have had the lead runner on. The first time was last inning when they scored. Konerko against Garza, 3 for 6 with a double and a home run in his career. As he takes ball 1.
Well, there's a breaking pitch. Now Konerko's probably sitting fastball. You got, if he's going to throw a breaking pitch or get me over, you got to try to get it over. This will be a difficult inning for him. If he gets through this, he's going to be in pretty good shape.
Griffey Jr. on deck here in the 4th inning with Tomey at second. Ball 2. He falls behind 2-0. Back to the fastball that time.
And he's dialed in too. When guys are taking pitches and barely flinching, and they're looking it into the catcher's glove, feeling pretty good. Now you remember the concentration Konerko had the other day after he thought he'd walked on 3 pitches and he came back and hit the home run. That's the type of look he has right now.
Fouls it off, and it's 2-1. Konerko with 22 home runs during the regular season. Mentioned all the injuries that he battled.
The other thing that's going to come into play right here, he's not thinking right side of the diamond. He's not going to be trying to get the man over. That's one of the things you concede, particularly in an American League ballpark with the team they have. You're going to try this. You're my RBI guy. Drive a run in. Don't try to get him over. Same thing with Griffey. And the heart of this order, they're not thinking move runners over.
Inside for a ball. And the hitters count now for Konerko. It's 3-1. Saw the 143 home runs for the White Sox here at U.S. Cellular Field of their 235 on the season. We got Tomey with a leadoff double. Griffey on deck and nobody out.
You know, Garza was kicking the dirt and trying to get a little bit better toe hold. Sometimes that does take away the concentration of the hitter, and that's what Ozzy's yelling about. Speed him up. Let's go. Get him back up on the mound. Because he knew that Konerko was in a pretty good rhythm.
Konerko with a swing and a miss and a full count. That caught in his ears. He can block out U.S. Cellular Field. He can block out Ozzy. He can block it all out.
Well, the other thing is you know, you ever been shooting baskets in the backyard and somebody gets in a pretty good rhythm, hitting shots, then you roll it back to them or you hold the ball on them a little bit
just
more.
To break up the momentum.
Just to break up the rhythm and the momentum. And that's what Garza did, intentionally or unintentionally, by him going down to the bottom of the mound, taking his time like this. It's broken that concentration and that flow for Konerko just enough.
Konerko jumps back out of the way, and it's ball 4. It's the second walk given up by Matt Garza. The first 2 have reached for Chicago here in the 4th inning.
Well, here's a good look at that at-bat. A little off-speed pitch, and then he comes back with the fastball, and then another fastball, and that ball's away. I thought he'd be sitting a little more something inside, and then he chased another bad pitch. So if he'd have thrown a strike, he had Konerko being impatient, chasing pitches instead of really dialing in. That conversation at the mound, when you see your pitcher walking around, stomping around, and he's not in a good rhythm like we saw the first 2 innings, that's why they go out and have that conversation.
So a double and a walk, and it takes us to Ken Griffey Jr. As Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, is out to talk to Garza. Griffey with a single back in the 2nd inning.
In this situation, if you're Griffey, you want to get a ball in. So you pull it and not hit the ball to the left side of the infield where they can turn it over on.
Takes ball 1. Starts him with the fastball.
He wants to dot that ball right on the outside half. That's where Garza's best, with the fastball down and away to the left-hander, and he just missed with that.
Griffey to right. It's in for a hit. Tomey to third base. He'll be stopped there. Baldelli gets it back in quickly. The White Sox have him loaded with nobody out. Second hit of the game for Ken Griffey Jr.
Well, and he's not out of danger yet, because I think the best ball player on this team and the best hitter for the White Sox is coming up. Griffey gets a nice ball down and away. That's a ball he's been spinning off this series. Those 2 hits for Griffey today, pretty good at bats. That's a good sign he's starting to come around. But once again, station to station baseball. Now that's a tough read. You don't want to get doubled off if you're Tomey, but it takes 3 or 4 hits to score these guys. And that's the problem the White Sox have been having. This is the guy that can change it for them, though.
Things have been a little different second time through so far for Matt Garza. A double, a walk, and a single. White Sox have him loaded for Alexei Ramirez. Strike one. Doesn't take a lot, but he takes the first pitch for a strike.
That's a bit of surprise that he took that pitch.
Tomey at third, Konerko at second, and Griffey at first. Ramirez to center field. B.J. Upton back a few steps. Makes the catches. Tagging is Tomey. Throw is cut off. The throw to second base is not in time, and a run in to put the White Sox on top. Tomey able to tag and score to put Chicago on top 2-1.
Well, that ball's deep enough where they should be lining up to throw to second. Now the infielders have to tell him second base, and B.J. Upton should know that they got to go to second in that situation. He hit the cutoff, but maybe this is how they play it. Now you'll watch, the shortstop's in perfect position for him to go to third base, so he throws the ball to the cutoff. They got to be lined up at second for this ball, not third. They're not going to throw anybody out at third base on that. Nice job by Griffey. What Griffey does is he runs to see where the center fielder's going to throw it. If it goes that direction, you continue on. If it goes to second base, you just go back to first base. That's a big play right there.
Turned into a very close play as well, but Griffey Jr. is in safely at second base.
It's a big gamble by Griffey, but it sets him up nice. Now you got the infield back. They're basically saying put the ball in play, and we're going to give you a run.
Fourth inning has been the toughest inning this year for Matt Garza. No different here in Game 3 of the postseason. Dwayne Wise walked the first time, lines this down the left field line towards the corner. From third comes Konerko. Griffey Jr. is behind him. 2 more runs for the White Sox. Wise bangs them both in.
Well, the key to me this inning is the adjustment that the veterans made. Coming into the inning, top of the inning, you had Tomey, Konerko, Griffey, and you knew they were going to make adjustments. Now Wise is sitting fastball. He gets it, great piece of hitting to stay on that ball right there, starting to tail away. That is the only way he can hit that ball and keep it fair. That's a great piece of hitting. But the veteran guys set this inning up.
So Wise, who had the big 3-run home run in the first game of the series at the time for Chicago, has got a 2-run double here in Game 3. Now Uribe goes around. Uribe lined out to the first baseman Carlos Pena in the third inning. Ball 1-1-1. He has discarded the cotton in his ears. Enough of that.
Well, he probably hasn't had to pitch with it all season long. He's probably saying, I got to get back to doing what I did to get here.
Uribe with a wild swing and a miss is down 1-2. Mentioned the fourth inning during the regular season, a tough inning for Garza. He gave up 19 runs in the fourth inning this season, and it is the most of any inning for him. So generally you figure that second time through the order.
You know, generally when you challenge guys with fastballs so much, you have to make some type of adjustment because you know they're going to be sitting on that the second time through.
Uribe with a tough at bat, some tough swings there, and he strikes out. It's the third K for Garza, 2 down.
Well, you can see why Garza's got great numbers, and this slider right here is one of the reasons. He's got the whole repertoire. And you're throwing 96, 97, and then the guy drops a slider on that like that right there, you're going to be heading back to the dugout also.
So he has the second out of the inning. Wise still at second base, and Orlando Cabrera gets his third look at Matt Garza. He's grounded out to third base and struck out swinging. Broken bat grounder to Bartlett at short. Throws out Cabrera and ends the inning. This place is alive. The White Sox score 3 times and take a 4-1 lead.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Connect to everything you love in life with BlackBerry. And brought to you in part by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in HD.
Top half of the 5th inning, and the bunt bid dropped down that time by Akinori Iwamura. On the move as he dropped it, but dropped it foul. Dan Ryan Expressway running outside U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, where the White Sox have a 4-1 lead. They score 3 times in the bottom of the 4th inning to break the 1-1 tie. We talked about the big inning for the White Sox this season. And here they have 4 runs through the first 4 innings. They are 78-20 when scoring 4 or more runs on the season. Iwamura waves at that pitch and strikes out. We talked to the bench coach for the Tampa Bay Rays in between innings. Of course, they're in the postseason for the first time, but it seems like they're a pretty loose group.
They're great, man. They've been loose this whole playoff series. They're ready to go, man. They want to get this over with, win this game, and get back home.
Dave, you're getting to the point in your lineup now where you're going to be facing Danks the second time. What are guys doing for adjustments?
Well, you know, we told them all along that we got to get the ball up a little bit. He's got a good cutter and a good changeup. He likes to work down. You know, we're trying to make him get the ball up. Not by any means this guy is easy. You know, like I said, he moves the ball around. He works both sides of the plate. So if we can get him to get the ball up, we'll have a good chance of getting some hits.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
Well, thanks to Dave Martinez, the bench coach for Joe Madden, for joining us as B.J. Upton grounds it foul.
Well, you always want to have a game plan when you go to the plate. And getting the ball up, what they mean is they want to get him to get that ball above the knees, on up, and swing. No, often you hear expression on TV, listen to different people say, don't swing the ball up. It depends on the pitcher. Some guys you have to get the ball up. Other guys you have to make them get it down.
Upton pops it up. Foul ground. Konerko towards the Rays dugout. Leans in but can't make the catch. As far as he could go to that railing, and it's just out of his reach.
And you saw no help at all. None.
He's on the wrong side for that.
Wrong side. That's playoff baseball right there. Now watch the bench here. You're going to get no help. Steve Henderson, hitting coach, said, no. That's one of my hitters up there. I'm not helping you out. Now during the regular season, might help him out a little bit, but not now.
Upton pops it up again, foul. This one further back and well into the seats. E.J. Upton has been playing with a torn labrum in his left shoulder that will require off-season surgery.
And it's made a difference in his bat speed, because this guy's a 30-30 guy. Back healthy again next year, he's a threat for 30 home runs.
Swing and a miss. Upton strikes out. It's back-to-back Ks for John Danks. All the action of MLB postseason is on TBS. Every Division Series game and the American League Championship Series exclusively on TBS and also available in HD. The home of MLB postseason. It has turned out to be a beautiful fall afternoon in Chicago as we head towards early evening. We had a 20-minute rain delay to get it started, but the precipitation came and went, fortunately. As we play game 3 of this American League Division Series, Pena goes the other way to left. Dwayne Wise makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 fifth inning. We're halfway through this one. The White Sox at home have a 4-1 lead. Dwayne Wise has been a spark plug so far for this White Sox team as we head to the last half of the 5th. In between innings, Matt Garza was warming up, having trouble with his landing foot, and the home plate umpire, Ron Culper, who's out there now, requested the grounds crew to come out and work on it. Apparently a big hole as he kind of stumbled after one of his deliveries. Ozzie Guillen out to help out as they finally got the grounds crew out there to do some work, and they're working on that landing foot spot right now. Get exclusive camera angles, behind the scenes info, and more online with TBS Hot Corner. Check it out now at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner.
You know, oftentimes the height of each pitcher is different. And Danks is 6'1", Garza is 6'4". So when Danks is landing, where Garza lands at, it's like the tail end of where Danks' foot might be. And that a lot of times will affect the landing pattern. And so he wants to be able to fully extend out, or it's maybe making him extend a little further than landing in the hole. So a lot of times it depends a lot on the measurements of the pitchers. Being that close to height, 3 inches, that's about the size of his feet. He's got some big hoofers right there, it looks like. You know, so he's landing in an area that it's messing up his area. Got that? Got all that?
I'm familiar with the term hoofer.
Yeah, that's
a new one for me, but it works.
Some big old feet there. Feets. Like that? That better?
Feets, hoofers, whatever. He's got him.
Some stomp.
He's slipping now on some of that loose dirt, and at the end of each of the last 2 tosses in, he slipped a little bit, so he's trying to find some ground that works here, and now he's calling out the umpire again. He's not happy with the way this thing has worked out after they worked on it. There's the dirt that they worked on, and there's the slippage at the end of one of his warm-up tosses.
You know, people are going to be upset, and it's taking a little time and all that, but you know what? The bottom line is health before injury. And if you land wrong, that's where a growing injury may occur, back injury, you know, any of those things. And we already talked about already how great the groundskeeper is here. So he's sitting here. He's a little upset. Now, what's he doing? Messing with my field, man? What's going on? So Roger wants to know exactly where you're going to land at.
They're kind of pulling away that dirt that they had put on top. And of course, the fans here at US Cellular Field are not really digging this, as he digs away at the base of the hill. So basically, they took away what they added, but they have flattened it out, and I'm sure that's what Garza really wants here.
Well, and that looks slick. It's a little wet. We did have some rain earlier, and they had batting practice, and the tarps were off during BP, but I don't know, I'm not a...
White Sox were able to take their full batting practice. The Tampa Bay Rays were not. Joe West out there alongside Joe Madden as he's now involved in the conversation. Well, as we wait, we want to remind you, Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together, they create a positive place for kids. Garza, who did not finish all of his warm-up tosses, continues now to check it out. Now he's good to go.
Question will be, how's that affect Danks?
He's got a new spot now.
Yeah.
We'll have to dig one in. A.J. Pierzynski making his way to the plate. I want to go back to the top half of this inning. Important for John Danks, after his team got 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning, to then shut down the Rays, and he did that. 2 strikeouts and a flyout, a 1-2-3 after the 5th.
It's always best medicine to get your team right back in the dugout and let them go back to work, especially when you have a guy that's on the ropes.
A.J. Pierzynski 1 for 2 in the game with an RBI single. as he takes strike one. Better landing that time for Garza, and no give. No slide that time. Swing and a miss of the breaking ball, and Brzezinski is down 0-2.
I don't have a problem with Garza asking for that to be fixed. I mean, that's just part of the game, and like I said, I would hate to see an injury occur, and so would the groundskeeper, because he didn't have the proper place to land.
This one fouled off to the left back and out of play. You often hear from groundskeepers safety and playability is two big things for them, and certainly wants to make sure that mound is fine.
Those hoofers.
For his hoofers or feetsies, is that what you call it? Was the second one?
We'll just go with his feet. That's fine.
0-2 the count to Brzezinski. Thought about it, didn't pull the trigger. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to the White Sox catcher.
I clearly do not see the same pitcher we saw first inning out of Garza. Mechanically or whatever, it's not the same guy, because in the first inning he was fluid, he was delivering, and you could tell he was taking signs with confidence. It's not the same right now.
Brzezinski to left center field, Upton headed back. It's going to one-hop the wall back there, and left center as Brzezinski will cruise into second base with a leadoff double to begin the bottom of the 5th, his second hit of the day.
Well, here's a ball right here, out away. Great piece of hitting by A.J. Now, if you remember, in Tampa, they threw him outside, and what did he do? He kept slapping base hits to left field, and they continue to stay out there. So that's another part of the series. You make adjustments. As a hitter, after 2 games, I say, how are they pitching me? And A.J.'s going up there going, they're going to stay away, then I'll take the ball away, and I'll keep hitting the base hits.
So a double to get it started here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the White Sox. Jermaine Dye, who has flied out to left field, reached on a fielder's choice. 0 for 2. It's jammed and pops it up. Navarro and Longoria, and it's Navarro in front of the White Sox dugout to make the catch.
Nice catch right there by Navarro. Now, you wonder, is that the third baseman's ball or the catcher's ball? Anytime the third baseman can get over there, he has the equipment, the proper glove to catch that. But this is not Little League baseball. You got a big league all-star catcher right there, and he takes control of that play, and he ends up catching the ball.
So 1 down, Brzezinski at second base, and Jim Thome getting his 3rd look at Matt Garza. Garza got him to strike out in the 2nd inning. Thome doubled to start the 4th, and that is what started the 3-run bottom of the 4th inning for the White Sox. Strike 1 to Thome.
And you see he changed his pattern. Last time, first at bat, 9 straight fastballs, 7 straight fastballs. Last at bat, a fastball for the double, and right there he started with the breaking pitch.
After 3 extra base hits in the first 2 games of the series, they've had 3 today. Doug Walker, the hitting coach for the White Sox, as this one is fouled off.
Well, here's his first at bat. Fastball, fastball, fastball. Basically, I'm going to challenge you. I dare you to hit me. 97. That's 99 right there. Okay, he strikes him out on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and right here he starts him off 96. The last at bat. This AB, breaking pitch, fastball away. And what that breaking pitch for the strike did is now all of a sudden that put another thought in Thome's mind. That fastball gets by a hitter now.
The 0-2 misses, Thome taking, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
It's easy to hit when you know what's coming, and when a guy continues to challenge you like that, you almost know he's going to do it again, and you slow that ball down, you catch up to it. But if he throws a fastball here at 98 miles an hour, he's not hitting it.
The check swing, did he go? No. This is third base umpire Eric Cooper. Jim Thome struggling down the stretch. He hit just .214 in the final 42 games of the season. striking out a lot, 43 times, and had just 31 hits. His home run in the one-game playoff, without question, the biggest of the season. Takes ball 3, a ball that gets away briefly from Navarro. No chance for Brzezinski to advance. And a full count to Thome.
Well, you got to make Thome chase a pitch here. You can't throw him a strike that he can handle. You want one on the corner, you want a breaking pitch, a change up something, or a fastball where he can't reach it because you got an open base and you got a guy on the on-deck circle who can double up and get you out of this inning. But you better make your pitches, because if you miss on the next guy, he can hurt you for 3.
Ball 4. Thome down to first base. It's the 3rd base on balls given up by Garza in his outing. And the pen busy for the first time. It's a left-hander Trevor Miller who's up for Tampa Bay.
Well, this could be Garza's last guy. They're kind of stalling because Griffey coming up. Trevor Miller is designated to get the left-hander out. You'll see him pitch to the one left-hander in the lineup they want to get out, and Griffey's that left-hander at this point in time where their lineup is at. I think Joe Madden sees what we're seeing. Garza's taking a lot of time. He's struggling. He's not putting the ball where he wants to. This is a huge at-bat.
Well, it is a 3-run lead right now for the White Sox. They have 2 on, 1 out. Paul Konerko takes the strike on a check swing. It's a called strike by Ron Kulpa. Numbers for Garza through 4 1/3, up to 73 pitches. Away, and it's a ball and a strike. Well, we heard Ozzie Guillen say we want to get these starters out of the game and get to that bullpen of Tampa Bay's. I'll tell you what, that bullpen has been outstanding for the Rays.
Well, that's usually the case with most clubs. You want to get in that bullpen, but you're right. This team, it's tough to say we want to get to the bullpen.
They've given up 1 run in 6 1/3 through the first 2 games. Two and 1 to Konerko.
Well, he's pitching him like this is his last hitter, and you can see he hasn't challenged him with the fastball at all. He's thrown 3 breaking balls on the outside half. What he's trying to do is get Konerko to roll over. Now, he might put himself in a dangerous situation right here and get away from his game plan and decide to challenge him. And that's when Konerko can take advantage of that and maybe jump on a fastball. But I think they got to stay with, you're going to go with that many breaking balls, stay with something that he might roll over and do a breaking pitch.
Konerko chops it foul into his own dugout. It evens the count now at 2 and 2. They've gotten Harold Baines over there trying to get out of the way. Seems to be all right.
It's good to see him back. He was back yesterday from the workout. He's starting to feel a little bit better. He's still a little weak from the ulcer that kept him out of the first couple of games.
So Brzezinski at second base, Thome at first, 1 down. Konerko grounds it towards third. Longoria will go to second for 1, on to first, and a double play for the Rays. They needed that. It closes out the 5th inning. We played 5 with the White Sox on top 4-1. Back in Chicago, here's today's Nikon D60 player profile. Many think Evan Longoria will be the Rookie of the Year in the American League, although in Chicago they have other thoughts. He's from down in California, went to the same high school in Southern California as Nomar Garciaparra. And of course, big in the All-Star game, ended up going 15 innings, but he tied it up in the 8th inning of the Midsummer Classic from Yankee Stadium. Longoria leads it off here in the 6th inning. Gets the arms out of the way and takes ball 2, 2-0.
Seeing the ball pretty good. I'll tell you what, this is their inning to get back in it. Great job of pitching around Thome and then getting the double play to continue to give them an opportunity to stay in this ball game. That was a huge at bat to break it open.
Well, Konerko grounding into the 5-4-3 double play that wrapped up the 5th. Momentum certainly in the White Sox favor at that point, as they had scored 3 times in the 4th and had some base runners in the 5th. There's a strike, 3-1 to Evan Longoria. Ball 4 and a leadoff walk for Longoria. TBS presents a very funny festival with a very funny lineup. See Jerry Seinfeld, Dane Cook, Cheech and Chong, and many more live. The funniest names in comedy will be at the Comedy Festival November 20th through the 22nd in Las Vegas. Buy tickets now at thecomedyfestival.com. And the second free pass allowed by John Danks in his 5+ innings. And Evan Longoria at first base with Carl Crawford standing in, and Danks off the backside of the mound.
Well, and this is a big inning for Danks. This is the bridge inning where you want to try. It sets up the whole bullpen if he's able to get through the 6th and get to the 7th to start next inning with the bullpen, or him even starting the 7th inning. But this is that critical inning, so you don't mess up the bullpen if he has to come out in this inning.
Not in bad shape pitch count wise, as he misses to Crawford. And now A.J. Przinsky is headed out.
Ozzie had such high praise for John Danks and confidence. Did you ask a question to him, or Mark? You asked him, and he said, "I'm not worried about this guy at all."
Well, that was the first question, because you heard the comments about Javier Vazquez not being a big game pitcher. He has said many times over he feels Danks is a big game pitcher, and he certainly confirmed that, winning the 1-game playoff. Danks falling behind now 2-0. Guillen headed out. It is not Don Cooper, his pitching coach. It'll be Guillen.
He's talking to Joe West, the crew chief. Joe saying, "Man, hurry up and get out to the mound." You know, it was interesting. We flew in with the umpires yesterday, and I sat next to Joe for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours on our flight back up. And
you were picking his brain
the whole time. I love talking to people and being able to pick them up and pick their brain. I was asking them about positioning and, you know, all the different things the umpires know. My biggest question was, there's so many crazy rules that happen in baseball. How do you remember them all? And he said, you know, it's just by being around. You instinctively are able to figure things out.
Pitch in there for a strike. I think the most interesting thing I heard from you after that conversation was where the umpire sets up and why behind the catcher.
Yeah, that was interesting. Setting up, like in this situation, he set up right behind the catcher inside the left-handed hitter. And the reason being that...
Did he go? No, says Eric Cooper, third base umpire.
Most balls that are fouled back is for safety. If you foul a ball back towards the opposite end of the batter, it picks up speed. But if you ever see a ball foul back directly behind the guy, it doesn't have as much speed. And so I said to him, well, hold it, you sit up there, how do you see the outside pitch? He said, well, how did you see the outside pitch when you were hitting? And I'm like, what?
Brings up a pretty good point. Crawford takes strike 2, and it's a full count.
Because the umpire's sitting still, and the hitter, you have to move. And that was the end of my argument.
Evan Longoria has walked to begin this, the top half of the 6th inning. Carl Crawford with a full count. Crawford pops it up foul, back and out of play. This is the crew as Ron Kulpa has the plate. Jeff Kellogg at first. Gary Darling at second base. Eric Cooper at third. Joe West and C.B. Buckner, who had the plate in each games 1 and 2, worked the lines. Crawford strikes out looking. Grabs the inside corner according to Ron Kulpa. Crawford doesn't think so. He's the 5th strikeout victim for John Danks.
That is the first ball he's thrown inside to a left-hander. Now you remember, even more, he was swinging, just fanning away on balls outside. Crawford has been outside and he comes back inside and gets the call. But that's the first ball he's thrown inside to the left hand.
Ibar fouls off the first pitch from Danks. Crawford a lengthy at bat. Still doesn't think it was strike 3.
Well, it's frustrating because I'm sure from his vantage point it didn't look like a strike because he's been looking outside. Everything's been away, and then the guy busts you in. It's going to look even further in than maybe it was.
Ibar shortens up to show bunt, takes the pitch, and the count evens at 1-1. Ibar pops it up, foul ground. Uribe and Przinski going as far as they can, but it's back into the crowd.
Got a little bit of a headwind blowing from center field towards home plate that's pushing these balls back out of the foul territory.
Thornton and Dotel up in the pen for Ozzie Guillen as Danks works here in the 6th inning. He walked the leadoff hitter. There's the breeze you talked about, and it's more of a gust right now. Longoria walked, Crawford struck out. The 1-2 to Ibar will have to wait as they check on Longoria. Had a very short lead, easily back to the bag.
And the reason he did that is a lot of times guys will shorten up and take off first movement. We saw it the other day on the stolen base, moving on first movement. So you give him a little courtesy look. It didn't hurt anything to do that.
Ibar gets a piece to stay alive, and it hangs at 1-2. Ibar spending time on the DL this year as well. April 12th through May 29th had a sore left hamstring. And that's what really opened the door kind of for Evan Longoria to come up. You knew he was going to come up at some point during the season, but that's when he first arrived on the scene. And it would be Ibar that would fill in for Longoria later in the season. Strikes out this time, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for John Danks. 2 down.
Well, you're seeing Danks eat up the strike zone right now. You busted Crawford in on the inside to a left-hander to get him out. Now he goes back in to get Ibar with a cutter in on his hands. When you can move the ball around the strike zone, it's very difficult. Look at the movement on that cutter right there. That ball started almost at the center of the plate and ended up way inside.
So Danks trying to work around a leadoff walk to Evan Longoria. Longoria still at first with 2 outs in the inning. Strike 1 to Deanna Navarro. Danks has struck out for the last 6 batters.
And I go back to the point again, Danks is in a great rhythm, but he's also neutralized the running game. They've had runners on first base. They haven't been able to get a read. They haven't been able to push the envelope. And that's a huge weapon for this team to take away. If you can take away the speed of the Rays, you got a chance to do some real good things.
You really felt like this field was going to make a big difference for the Rays, not able to do what they're able to do at home at Tropicana Field.
A big difference, you know, with the grass surface, but more importantly, it was raining today. And when the rain came, obviously you're going to get a little more of a soaked field, and the footing's not going to be the same.
Well, this U.S. Cellular Field crowd on their feet with 2 strikes on Deanna Navarro, who was 2 for 2 against Danks. Missing away to even the count at 2-2 to Navarro. Navarro going to the All-Star game this season representing the Rays. With 7 homers, 54 RBIs during the regular season. Navarro down the right field line. Jermaine Dye towards the line to make the catch that ends the inning. Danks works around a leadoff walk. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 4-1 Chicago.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Sprint, the Simply Everything plan only on the Now Network, and by Zantac. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
Ken Griffey Jr. leads it off as we move along to the bottom of the 6th inning. 24-year-old from Fresno State, Matt Garza, back on the mound for the bottom of the 6th inning. 79 pitches in his outing as he misses away.
And the reason Garza's back in here was because of the walk to Thome and being able to get the double play ball to get him out of the inning. Because Miller, had he not been able to get that, Miller was coming in to face Griffey.
But instead it is Garza who has given up 2 hits to Ken Griffey Jr. A single to center and a single to right. As he gets his 3rd look at Garza. This is inside, and it's 2-1. Matt Garza, his first full season in the major leagues, coming over from the Minnesota Twins along with Jason Bartlett. This is his first postseason appearance. Soft breaking ball that drops in there for strike 2, 2-2.
That was a nice pitch right there because Griffey was definitely looking for a fastball. He busted him in on the pitch before, and then Griffey said, all right, I got him 2-1. I'm going to get a fastball here, and he pulled the string on him.
This one kicks away for ball 3, full count.
Garza's a great find for them. When he came in the trade, I don't think people really realized how talented he was. Those close to baseball and scouting obviously did, but it's almost like an afterthought because Delman Young, they got so much attention for trading Delman Young, you didn't realize what these 2 guys were going to do for this club.
Inside, ball 4, and he walks Griffey to begin things here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's the 4th base on balls given up by Garza. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, is headed out. Well, Garza ended up starting the year as the number 2 starter in the rotation for the Rays because Cotton Kazmir ended up on the DL to start the year. And of course the number 1 starter was James Shields. We have a pinch runner. So Brian Anderson has taken over at first base. And this would be kind of a normal switch anyway as you get to the later portions of the game for Ozzie Guillen to put Anderson in center field as a defensive replacement.
Well, he's talked about how they've scored runs early and they haven't been able to score late in the game. I think it's a correlation with the fact that they do a lot of this. You take your offense out of the game to pinch run. You know, you pinch run for Griffey, you pinch run for Thome. You're not going to get late inning offense when those 2 are sitting on the bench.
Well, let me ask you this as a former teammate of Ken Griffey Jr. How many steps has he lost in center field in your estimation?
Oh, he's lost quite a few. You know, you don't go through the hamstring injuries that he's had and be able to be so swift. I mean, he was one of the fastest guys in baseball, so that's how much he's lost. But for him to be still able to get around out there is pretty amazing. But the thing that Junior is doing now, he's playing on experience. He positions himself properly. He knows where the pitchers are going to throw pitches. He knows where the hitters are going to hit it. He anticipates, and that's what veteran players will do.
The leadoff walk for Griffey. Anderson running for him. Alexei Ramirez down to the count, 0-1.
He's running.
Pitch outside and the count 1-1.
If he gets into a count, which is right here, 1-1, we might see Anderson run. He's got a great lead, and he was starting to lean a little bit on the 0-1 pitch. Now, the other day, Ozzie had a hit and run on 0-1 with Cabrera, and we thought that Przinsky had run into an out. It was actually a hit and run. But I think they might try something with these 2 guys with this combination.
Anderson takes off. The pitch as the ball was in the dirt, and Navarro can't do anything with it. Anderson will take second uncontested.
You know, the base runner a lot of times will tell you what he's going to do, but you have to pay attention to him all the time, not just one time. Here's Anderson. Look at him start to lean. He got a great jump. He's off and running. This is a straight steal. This isn't any kind of hit and run protection or anything like that. Great jump. He almost got such a good jump, he started to hesitate, but he's got explosive speed and he got a great pitch to run on.
Anderson in scoring position with nobody out for the White Sox in the 6th inning. Ramirez fights this one off foul and sends it back into the crowd, 2-2.
You know, that wasn't a great pitch to hit, but it was a tremendous approach. He's still trying to hit that ball to the right side. This ball ran back in on him, but he was trying to get the man over. Watch the approach right here. This ball's going to come back in on him, and he's trying to shoot that ball to the right side. That's playoff baseball.
Ramirez reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning, hit a sacrifice fly in the fourth. He's got Anderson at second and nobody out. Ramirez down the line at third, picked by Longoria. The throw across on a couple of hops in time. The runner does get to third and Anderson. 2 hops to first, they get Ramirez, but another run 90 feet away.
You wonder why this kid is one of the best players in baseball. This is an incredible play. Watch him get rid of this ball immediately, and he knew exactly what he does. He's going to bounce this, and that's from playing on AstroTurf. When you play on turf, that's going to be right on one hop. But he knew that if I get rid of it, I've got enough on it, and it's going to bounce on target to get the out. That is an incredible play. Now, I know Anderson went to third, but he doesn't have a play if he holds on to it thinking that Anderson might come to third base.
So now the Rays will bring the infield in all the way around with 1 out, and Anderson at third base. Dwayne Wise, the batter. He's been big for the White Sox so far in this series. On the ground, picked at first by Pena, looks at the runner, now wins the foot race to the bag for the out. Big out for the Rays, the infield in, and it works out for Joe Madden.
Let me tell you something. From playing 10 years on turf, the reactions when you get drawn in, you take a lot of ground balls hit it right at you. That's why you're able to make reactions. Look at Pena. He knew to keep your glove down. That's what you do on turf. And because he plays on turf so much, they play on a field turf in Tampa, he's able to pick it, look where the runner's at. He was ready to go home, make the throw. That's a tremendous play, but that comes from the environment they play in at home. I should say the surface they play in at home. Great pick right there.
The Rays can now back up the infield with 2 outs. Juan Uribe fouls it off, swinging at that first pitch.
Now, a lot of people in baseball think go on contact. You know, I never really liked the contact play. Why would I give up an out at the plate when I got a runner at third base and I'll take a guy at first? That never made sense to me. I'd rather have my guy sitting at third base right now and give up the out at first than have a guy run home, be tagged out, and have a runner at first base. I never understood that.
Here you have another chance.
Absolutely.
And Uribe makes good with that opportunity. A base hit to left. It plates Anderson and gives the White Sox a 5-1 lead. Another 2-out RBI, and this time it's Juan Uribe getting it done for Chicago.
Well, that just is the point that I'm making. Let's say that Anderson came home on the last play, and he's out at the plate, and you got a runner at first base. Uribe's at bat is useless. Now you still have the runner at third. It changes how the defense has got to play, and it forces the pitcher. It takes away his breaking ball in the dirt. Now the hitter's going to get something to hit.
So the run in, 2 outs, Uribe at first and Orlando Cabrera. Runner goes, Cabrera swing and a miss. Navarro's throw, one hopped it in and out of the glove of Iwamura. So Uribe takes second base. A good throw may have had him, but he is at second with 2 down.
Well, and you'll trade that out right there if so, because you got your leadoff guy at the plate. So you send him immediately, and if they throw him out, that's okay. You got Cabrera leading off the next half inning. This is old school baseball right here. Ozzie Guillen just going ahead and saying, we'll take the out if you throw him out a second. He was dead to rights, but now you missed, and it's early in the count, and Uribe and Cabrera still got 2 pitches to work with to drive him in.
So the White Sox trying to keep the pressure on here with 2 down. Cabrera takes the 0-1. It gets away from Navarro to third base. Goes Uribe.
We need a little conversation at the mound right now just to settle things down with Garza and try to get this out, because again, you've got most teams will play. Here's the breaking ball. It's going to be right in the dirt. They got a 4-run lead right now. What you try to do is get to 5. Now a grand slam doesn't tie you, and it allows your pitcher to be a little more aggressive.
Cabrera dropping it down, and it goes foul. He attempted 2 there. Uribe was not coming from third base.
Watch Longoria. He read it the whole way, though. He's out if he puts that down.
Well, the White Sox were so poor in runners in scoring position situations in the first 2 games, 4 for 17. Better today, 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And as a result, enjoy a 5-1 lead. Cabrera strikes out to end the inning. But the White Sox add another run. We're through 6 in Chicago. The White Sox lead it 5-1 in Game 3. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Well, it's the 7th inning back at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, where the White Sox have tacked on another run in the bottom of the 6th inning and lead it 5-1 into the 7th. Rocco Baldelli leads it off for the Rays.
I tell you, they're still, they're 4 down. I still would love to see Rocco drop a bunt. You're looking at Brian Anderson, who came in for Griffey and stole that base, scored a run. He's in center now. But you still got the third baseman so far back. Ignite the offense. This guy's a great bunter. He can handle the bat. But he's not looking around, it doesn't look like. He's not thinking bunt, that's for sure.
Swings away and is down 1-2. I've seen the White Sox be pretty aggressive. They had 3 stolen bases in the game, 2 coming in the bottom of the 6th. That's the most they've ever had in their postseason history. And running today as Baldelli takes ball 2, 2-2.
Yeah, and we thought the speed was going to come from the other side of the diamond. The other dugout, the Rays. But Danks, again, when he's had base runners on, he's shut down their running game.
Baldelli takes ball 3. It's a full count. Danks into the 7th inning. Through 86 pitches through the first 6. Jason Bartlett on deck. Baldelli takes ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk for the 2nd straight inning allowed by John Danks.
Well, I think that's why they got that bullpen going. They're going to stay with him again because you got a guy on first that can run, so you're going to continue. But you see,
it's the same combination that was up last inning. Dotel and Thornton. As Cooper was just on the phone to the pen. And it's Jason Bartlett who walked in the 2nd inning. He popped out to shortstop in the 4th. And takes ball 1 from Danks.
And he's struggling right now. You can see it. He's got to that point where he's past the 90 pitch mark, heading on it towards the hundreds. But remember, he's coming off a short rest also, so his stuff is going to disappear real quick. And the first thing when guys get tired that goes away is location.
Missing again, and it's 2-0.
They're seeing what I'm seeing. I can't see him going much further. This may be his last guy. You got Thornton, the lefty, out there, and you got Dotel also, who can pitch to both sides, righties or lefties. They don't have to be a specialty pitcher.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Well, Ozzie is exactly right about John Danks. He is a big game pitcher. Of course, giving up no runs in his 8-inning effort in the 1-game playoff. Here today, into the 7th inning, giving up just 1 run. That came back in the 2nd inning.
Tremendous performance.
Bartlett takes the strike, and it evens at 2-2.
Yeah, even though Bartlett's in a 2-2 count, I love the fact he took the 2-0 pitch, because you had a pitcher that was really struggling. You don't want to help him out. But this shows the heart and courage and determination of this young man to battle back. And here he is again in a count with an opportunity to get out of a jam.
Bartlett fouls it straight back, and it hangs at 2-2. Danks had to work his way around a leadoff walk in the 6th inning of Evan Longoria. He did so by striking out Crawford looking, Ibar swinging, and then he got Deanna Navarro to fly out to right. No advance for Longoria, but he had to work hard to get out of that 6th. Bartlett strikes out. Danks back to striking out Rays. That's number 7 of the day for John Danks.
Well, and that's what the benefit of throwing strikes and being a strike thrower, because you get guys to chase balls that are out of the zone. He didn't show him this changeup the whole at bat because he was behind, and then he went to his out pitch and got the strikeout. That's A.J. Przinsky back there making those calls. He's done a great job of setting hitters up, and then Danks has been the executor.
So one away. Baldelli still at first. Iwamura after the first pitch. In foul ground, will it reach the seats with the wind blowing in? It will. Didn't start in that direction, but the breeze coming inward and pushing it towards the seats.
Well, they've tried everything to get to him. They just haven't been able to. He's bending but not breaking. I used that the other night with Burley.
He will reach the 100 pitch plateau with this next pitch. It's an 0-1 to Iwamura. Jammed and lifts it in the air to left. Dwayne Wise with the wind pushing it in. He's got to come in and recovers to make the grab in fair ground, 2 down.
And he's the only one that's going to get that ball because the shortstop and third baseman didn't go out. And right there you saw the effect of the wind you were talking about on the foul ball.
From where he started and where he ended up was a good bit of distance.
He really has to turn it on. Now watch the shortstop. He starts to go and he says, oh, that ball's going to be to him. And now the wind just took it. And this is going to fall down in fair territory.
So 2 down in the 7th. Baldelli at first base and B.J. Upton the batter. He has struck out twice and flied out. Hits a drive to left field. Deep, far, and gone for B.J. Upton. The Rays are right back in it with a 2-run home run here in the top of the 7th inning to make it 5-3. Hit 9 regular season home runs, and it's a shot here in the 7th inning off John Danks.
Well, we talked about it on his last at bat, the torn labrum in his left shoulder. This guy's going to be a 30-30 type player. This is an off season for him because he's been injured the whole time. But watch this. This is a ball he's sitting on the whole time. They've got him in. Remember the balls they've thrown him. He's thrown about 5 or 6 cutters, and he got him in on the hands. That one he left out over the plate, and he crushed it.
Rays are not going quietly as they get 2 on the 2-run home run by Upton. Now Carlos Pena fouls it off. Pena singled back in the first inning. Since then, a strikeout and a flyout.
It's funny how things change, and you know, Bartlett was patient. He ended up striking out, but you've seen Danks kind of labor through this half inning.
Pena takes ball 1, 1-1. And staying with Danks here, up over 100 pitches now to face left-handed hitting Carlos Pena. Ball 2, 2-1 to Pena.
Now you remember Dave Martinez saying we want to make him get the ball up. That ball that B.J. Upton hit was about the only pitch that he's got up, and that's only now when he's been struggling in this half inning were they able to get to him.
Pena to right field. Dye coming in. It'll fall in for a base hit. And Pena's aboard with 2 down. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Ernie?
Yeah, thank you very much, Don. There's a look at Fenway Park, site of Game 3 between the Angels and the Red Sox. That game is scheduled to start at 7:27 Eastern Time. About 20-25 minutes from now. It's going to start on TNT because this game is still going to be going. So TNT for the start of Angels Red Sox, and when the Rays and White Sox are done on TBS, the Angels and Red Sox will be on TBS. Back with more after this.
Now it's time for Moments That Change the Game, brought to you by Viagra. An earthquake hit the Bay Area minutes before the first pitch of Game 3 of the 1989 World Series between the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. The series continued after a 10-day delay. Dennis Eckersley pitched a 1-2-3 ninth inning in the game to help the A's complete the sweep. For more moments that change the game, log on to si.com/moments. Well, the day is over for John Danks, who gives the White Sox 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, So far charged with 3 runs. He is responsible for Pena at first. Walked 3 and struck out 7. Look at the day for Dang so far. Azugian making the move after the single by Pena. DHL presents MLB Delivery Man, and the new pitcher for Azugian is Octavio Dotel. Going to him here as he did so often during the regular season, 72 different times. Fans, go to MLB.com to cast your vote for the 2008 DHL presents MLB Delivery Man of the Year award. Evan Longoria. Did he go? They'll check, and the answer is yes, according to Jeff Kellogg. Bit of a delay in the check, but when they do, he says he went around.
How calm is this guy? Chewing gum, kind of smiling like, come on, man, you know I didn't go on that one. That's okay, I'll get another pitch.
Swing and a miss has him down 0-2. The potential tying run at the plate is Evan Longoria, a guy who has really done it late in games also. 10 of his 27 home runs this season came in the 7th inning or later.
Well, you saw right there, that's a swing to tie the game. He understands the situation. Right here, he's trying to hit a ball in the gap.
Fouls this one off, back below us, still 0-2.
I just love hanging out with this kid. He's such a competitor, and seeing him play and compete is a lot of fun.
He's been held hitless in this one. He's flied to right, flied to left, walked last time up. As time is called.
Now, if you're wondering about Dotel throws a fastball, a cutter, a curveball, and a slider. And the biggest thing that they've said about Dotel is he understands his role with this team.
Brzezinski able to knock it down.
That's so important when you make acquisitions of veteran players, that they understand what their role is. This guy's been one of the premier closers at different times in his career, but here he's pitches in the 5th inning, the 7th inning, the 8th inning. He's even saved games, so he's been all over. He's been the go-to guy to stop rallies, and that's what they're calling on him to do right here.
Had 92 strikeouts during the regular season, tied for first among relievers. This one gets away, and Pena's headed to second base. The ricochet quickly back to Brzezinski as Pena takes second base and into scoring position with 2 down.
Well, here's a ball, doesn't make it back there. Now, this is a big play because it changes Longoria's approach. You saw the big swing he took on the first swing of this at bat. Now, he's just trying to get a base hit. Close this to 1-run ball game in the 7th, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves.
Longoria strikes out. Huge strikeout for Octavio Dotel. But the Rays are closer thanks to a 2-run home run by B.J. Upton. It's 5-3 White Sox. Here is today's Travelers mid-game recap. Akinori Iwamura has been so huge for the Rays. You would get him on the board in the 2nd inning. White Sox coming back in a 1-1 game. It's A.J. Pierzynski. Able to have Dwayne Wise score to tie the game. Well, the White Sox on top 4-1. They tack on yet another run. The Rays not going quietly as B.J. Upton, with the Rays trailing by 4 runs, gets him back within 2 with his 2-run shot. And it's 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Octavio Dotel with a big strikeout to end last inning.
Well, he did a great job of pitching. They've been pounding Longoria inside, and watch him go outside and bring this ball back. And that's why, again, we saw it with earlier with Crawford on the inside pitch, the reaction from him, and then here's Dotel's reaction. I think Eck would like that back in the studio. Yelling and screaming. He didn't get the fist pump, but he did get the yell in.
He was fired up, Eck-like, as Matt Garza is done after 6 innings. The Rays will go to their pen, and we mentioned how good this bullpen has been so far. And it's Trevor Miller who comes out of the pen to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, generally, he's a situational 1, maybe 2 batters, but here he's starting the inning.
No, you're absolutely right. That's what I was thinking, the same thing. You got Brzezinski leading off, but then you go to Dye. And I don't see anybody else up in the bullpen, so it looks like they're going to stick with him for a little bit anyway.
J.P. Howell has been the guy that they have gone multiple innings with. Another left-hander. It is A.J. Pierzynski who leads it off here in the 7th inning. This capacity crowd showing at one time a 4-run lead. It's down to 2. The Rays had to come from behind in the first 2 games of the series. They're trying to do it in game 3. As Pierzynski takes ball 1 outside.
And what you're going to see from Trevor Miller is he's going to drop down a little bit from the side. He throws that pitch right there is what they call a slurve, in between a slider and a curveball. Fastball and the breaker and a change. That's his fastball right there. But you can see how he would be tough on a left-hander, just the arm angle in which he delivers the ball.
10-year veteran lefty pitching in 68 games. He was 2 shy of Dan Wheeler for appearances in the team lead. And this season is 6th straight season of 60+ appearances.
He's a very valuable guy, particularly against a team such as the White Sox, who power comes from the left side of the plate from a lot of different guys.
Pierzynski does not chase and falls behind here 3-0. Pena coming in to talk with him.
Well, a lot of times he's not coming in to tell him or give him any advice. Hey, make sure you deliver the ball properly, set yourself. He's not saying that. He's basically stalling so that you can get somebody up in the bullpen.
Pierzynski taking ball 4. It's a leadoff walk for A.J. Pierzynski. Coming to TNT, sometimes bad guys make the best good guys. See Academy Award winner Timothy Hutton in the all-new TNT series Leverage this December only on TNT. Leadoff walk for A.J. Pierzynski, and it is going to be 1 and done for Trevor Miller. It is Chad Bradford will be coming in this 5-3 White Sox lead. The White Sox trailing 2-0 heading into this game 3. They enjoy a 5-3 lead here into the bottom of the 7th inning. A leadoff walk for A.J. Pierzynski, and a new pitcher for Tampa Bay. It's Chad Bradford.
Well, we saw Bradford the other day. He's going to drop down and he throws a fastball, a slider down from that. Watch where he's down here, down low, so you got to set your sights low. And he came in the other day. He got the double play ball in the big situation for them. And he's been a valuable guy in that he can get lefties and righties out. So that's the big thing for him here. Now, you can run on him, but I don't see A.J. Pierzynski being the guy that can run. He does take a long time to deliver a pitch.
Well, look at the in-game box score at the moment. A couple of hits for A.J. Pierzynski, who has walked to be in this inning. Anderson inserted in the game now in the 6th spot for Ken Griffey Jr., who had 2 hits while he was in there. Jermaine Dye 0 for 3 as he bats with a runner at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, and this is what I was talking about when Griffey came out of the game. You know, you just lost a big bat in the last couple frames of this ball game when you take him out in the 6th.
Inside to dive for ball 1. Matt Garza going the first 6 innings for the Rays, giving up all 5 runs that the White Sox have. Dye on a check swing foul, quickly back into the seats.
It's one of those tough reaction ones right there. Nothing worse than being at the plate when you foul a ball back and you hit somebody in the stands and you know it. And that's what Jermaine is walking around. Everybody's yelling, look out. And the ball still finds somebody. He seems to be okay, though.
Dye on the ground towards second. Moore will flip to second for one. On to first, the double play. Moore was headed in that direction, and they turn the easy double play, and there's 2 outs. So Bradford gets his job done very quickly, 2 away.
Well, he's not known for getting a lot of double play balls, but I think he's very difficult to hit. And one of the reasons you're going to get double plays, he keeps the ball down right there. Perfect defense, perfect timing, and he gets a double play.
2 double plays turned by the Rays defense. Base is empty now for Jim Thome. He has struck out, doubled, and scored, and walked. Take strike 1 from Chad Bradford.
Well, Thome ignited this offense, and I thought it was because of the adjustment he made. Now, this is the great thing about a series, because you'll start to see how guys pitch and how hitters adjust within a series, seeing guys in 3 or 4 days.
This is inside. It's a ball and a strike.
Even on the on-deck circle, you can see Jim Thome get a good look right there. You see Jim Thome working on trying to set his sights low and swing his bat as if he was trying to dig a ball out of the dirt. So he's looking for something down. He's looking for something to drive.
This one almost hits him as he ducks back out of the way and takes ball 2. Kind of a Frisbee-like effect coming in at him.
Yes, it is. Here it is. Barely got out of the way of that one. Now watch Jim Thome when he's warming up, when he does his warm-up swing. One thing I learned from Tony Gwynn is each hitter has a swing path. And watch where Thome, when he's warming up, where his swing path, that's where he wants that bat. That's his natural swing path. And I was talking to Tony one day. I said, how the heck you hit for such a high average? He looked for balls in his swing path. And that was in his path, and he missed it.
Skies it to shallow center. Center fielder Upton makes the catch that ends the inning. We played 7 full from Chicago, where the White Sox have a 5-3 lead.
Game break, Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Before we send you back to Chicago, let me tell you what's going on at Fenway Park in Boston. A couple of minutes away from the first pitch between the Red Sox and the Angels. We're going to start that game on TNT in a couple of minutes. And then when this game is done, the Red Sox and Angels will be on TBS. Everybody got that? Good. Back to you, Don.
Thanks very much, Ernie. We got it all figured out, I think, as Matt Thornton is on the mound now for Chicago as we head to the 8th.
That worked out pretty good last night. I figured that out.
Yeah, that's pretty
the
good.
Dodger game started a little later. Worked out okay.
Matt Thornton, his second appearance of the series. He was in game 2. And he is ahead of the leadoff hitter, Carl Crawford.
Well, this guy is flat nasty to left-handers. 95 to 98 consistently. And he's had a career year. Fastball, cutter, slider, and he's in there to neutralize lefties. You can see how tough he can be. You just don't see too many left-handed pitchers coming out of the bullpen throwing 98 miles an hour.
He broke into the big leagues with the Seattle Mariners. Now his 4th season in Chicago. And we'll see how tough he has been on left-handers at 170, the opponent batting average. Crawford grounds it to third base, where Uribe fields and throws. Dug out at first by Konerko for the first out of the 8th.
Well, here's the pick, and watch how he keeps his feet moving. This is what you want to do, is set your sights, keep your feet going where the target is, and make the throw. And a nice pick by Konerko at the other end over there.
One down here in the 8th inning. Here is Willie Ibar, who is 0 for 3. He's flied out twice and struck out. Takes strike 1. Thornton, the 3rd pitcher used by Ozzie Guillen. So a grounded foul, and it's 0-2. At 6 2/3 from John Danks. A big strikeout, facing only one batter for Octavio Totel. And now Matt Thornton with 1 out ahead, 0-2. Ibar waves at it. It gets away, so it'll be Thornton who gets it and applies the tag. Little extra push, but Ibar wants to make sure that he is okay with him, and the two kind of bump fists.
Well, you don't see that very often, where the ball kicks away from the catcher and the pitcher makes a play. Now, this is a great play by the pitcher. Both the hitter and the catcher are looking for the ball, but look at him. He's already over there almost by the time it bounces, and then there's some sportsmanship right here. You know, it's the postseason, and we saw a guy get hit the other day, and we've seen some antics on the mound and different things like that. But this is competing. I love it. They both, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. They're playing hard. It's hardball out there.
Pretty good collision, but we're both all right.
Yes, indeed.
And there's 2 down here in the 8th. Deanna Navarro.
But what made that play to me was Thornton's ability to react and know, hey, I got to bounce on that ball. The catcher's not going to get to it.
Navarro takes ball 1. He has doubled. That was back in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, flied out to right in the 6th. He joins Pena and Iwamura, who also have had 2 hit days. He's ahead 2-0.
He's throwing so hard. Ozzie now has moved Uribe off the line, so to speak, even more towards the 6-hole. Because he's throwing so hard, he's not anticipating anybody spinning on the fastball.
Ball's behind now, 3-0.
You may not recognize it at home because sometimes TV can't translate it as it is live when you're at the ball game. He is free and easy. I mean, that is easy gas. 97, 98, just free and easy.
Navarro taking all the way, and he takes strike 1, 3-1. Rocco Baldelli on deck, hoping he'll get a chance here. 2 outs in the 8th. And he will, as it's ball 4 to Deanna Navarro. And the Rays will bring the tying run to the plate. So a 2-out walk allowed by Thornton. As we look at the box inside this game for the Tampa Bay Rays, who bat with 2 outs in the 8th. Joe Maddon's squad. Multiple hit days for Iwamura, Pena, and Navarro. Baldelli has been held hitless. To center field, not hit hard. Anderson coming in. Makes the catch. It will end things in the top of the 8th inning. We head for the bottom of the 8th. It's 5-3 Chicago. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. Getting darker in Chicago. This crowd has been in a blackout as it was for the 1-game playoff. They won that, and they're winning this into the bottom of the 8th. Defensive change for the Rays. Gabe Gross takes over for Rocco Baldelli in right field defensively for Tampa Bay. As we head to the last half of the 8th inning, and it's more Chad Bradford at least to begin the inning. He induced a big 4-6-3 double play in the 7th, and then got Tomey to fly out. And he's back out there for the 8th. It's Paul Konerko, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Strike 1 over the outside corner.
You know, Bradford's been a key guy in this series. Remember, Konerko came up in Tampa the other day, got the ground ball double play. Last inning, he got another double play. Those are big, big situations he's come in and kept it close and has given his team an opportunity. Woo.
In there for a strike, and it's 0-2. It freezes Konerko.
That looks like something in the backyard. Wiffle ball right there. Making stuff up. He had to have learned that playing wiffle ball. Knuckles are scraping the dirt. What's this pitch?
Konerko fouls it off as he gets a piece, and it remains 0-2. Look at Brian Anderson waiting on deck. He pinch ran for Ken Griffey Jr. in the 6th inning, and for defensive purposes brought into the game as the White Sox get their closer Bobby Jenks ready to go. Looking ahead, it'll be 9-1-2 scheduled for the Rays in the top half of the 9th inning. Bartlett, Iwamura, Upton. Anybody gets on, Carlos Pena will have a chance. Konerko out ahead of this and fouling it off. Still 0-2.
Well, the only way you're going to hit Bradford is if he gets the ball up. He gets it down, he induces a lot of ground balls. 58 double plays this season, 3rd most among active relievers. So he gets a lot of ground balls. You have to make him get the ball up, and that was the ball that he got up. Now back to Anderson being on the on-deck circle. 6th inning, Ozzie basically said, we got we scored 5 runs. We're going for defense right now. And he knows that his pitching staff is good enough to hold that lead. That's why he went for the juggler right there.
Konerko to left field, sending Carl Crawford back a few, now to his left, and he makes the catch for the first out of the 8th. Today's game-changing play is brought to you by Sharp Aquos, official HD TV of Major League Baseball. And of course, the 2-run double for Dwayne Wise, who has been big in this series, back in the 4th inning at the time to give the White Sox the 4-1 advantage. Konerko is out number 1 here in the last half of the 8th.
Well, and Garza just struggled that 1 inning. Other than that, he threw the ball good enough to win this game.
And Anderson taking the strike. And Garza ends up going 6 innings, giving up 5 runs. Trevor Miller walked the only batter he faced, but Bradford quickly erased him on the double play. And Bradford into his 2nd inning of relief.
Set a stat that was alarming earlier in the game where Garza in the 4th inning.
It's the toughest inning of the year.
Yeah, and we gave up 3 tonight in the 4th. It's kind of strange, you know, usually it's the 1st inning or the 2nd inning a guy might struggle, but well, you think by the 4th the guy's in a pretty good groove in the game.
And we figure the hitters are making their adjustments, but apparently Garza not making his 2nd time throw.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's, you know, going to go with his power, and I think as he continues to grow and his breaking pitches continue to develop, he's going to get through that. He's got great stuff, and again, you take that 4th inning out of tonight's ball game, they're right there. He's gave his team a chance to win this game. Even still, 5 runs in an American League game, and you're talking about the 8th inning. You're saying, I'll take my chances with that.
Anderson rolls it down the 3rd baseline, foul. The indication played by Longoria for good measure, but a foul ball. Joe Madden.
This is real close. Watch this call right here. Now Longoria just goes ahead and plays it like you're supposed to, but that last hop kicked it foul. Nice job by the umpire right on top of that. The ball has to cross the base in fair territory. The base is set up in fair, right on the line there, in order for that ball to be fair.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Brian Anderson, 1 out in the 8th. Anderson strikes out. Bradford gets him for the 2nd out of the 8th. Joe Madden has so much faith in Chad Bradford, a guy who's pitching in his 7th postseason for his 5th different team, and a strikeout there for out number 2.
Well, he's such a valuable pitcher, and at that time of year when you go get somebody or you're building something, he's a guy you think about because he can come in, he can get you a double play when you need it. He can hold the other team and give your offense a chance to get back in there late in the game like he's doing today.
Alexei Ramirez with 2 outs takes ball 1. Chad Bradford is not allowed to run in 17 postseason outings. That covers 15 1/3 innings pitched in the postseason. No active reliever in baseball has thrown more postseason innings without allowing a run.
And one of the reasons he's so tough in the postseason is because of situations. It's not like the regular season where you're saying, hey, stretch us for 2 or 3 innings here. They're bringing him in going, get us a double play in this situation, and then they get him out. Or like tonight, he's got such good stuff, they left him in for another half inning.
Ramirez in a good spot, up 2-0 in the count. Drops the bunt down with Longoria deep third. It's fouled off.
In that situation, if he's going to drop a bunt, then you better steal the first pitch. You want to hit a double here. You want to hit an extra base hit or drive the ball to the ballpark. If you're dropping a bunt here, you're basically leaving it up to somebody else to drive you in.
And you're working towards the bottom of this White Sox lineup.
And he had a 2-0 count, you know, but again, that's a young player learning the situations in the game. I think this is a great matchup for him. He's a guy that hits low balls, and you got a low ball pitcher.
Takes ball 3, and it's 3-1. Fly out for Konerko, the strikeout for Anderson. See Dwayne Wise waiting on deck. Ramirez with a swing and a miss and a full count now. Took a hack at the 3-1 pitch.
Well, that's a great spot right there by Bradford. He went up and in on him on 3-1. Every other pitch has been down. Look at this ball run on him. Back in on his hands.
Ramirez has reached on a fielder's choice at a sacrifice fly, grounded out to third base. Bats with a full count, 2 down in the 8th. Back to the mound and handled by Bradford, who tosses him out at first base to end the inning. White Sox are 3 outs away from extending this series. Chicago on top 5-3. You've been watching the American League Division Series coverage on TBS, which is presented by BlackBerry.
That's cold right there, huh?
Bobby Jenks on for the 9th. Total of 30 saves during the regular season for Jenks. Nick Swisher at first base takes over for Paul Konerko. Jason Bartlett leading it off in the 9th. Takes ball 2, and it's 2-0.
Well, the key for Bobby Jenks is just look at that radar gun. He was down to about 91, 92 towards the end of the season, and they gave him a little bit of rest. He's back up to mid-90s.
The strike, and there's a mid-90s, 96 for strike 1.
He'll throw that, he'll throw a changeup, he'll throw a cutter and a slider. He's got it all, but the main thing they like about Bobby Jenks, he can pound the strike zone with every pitch.
Ball 3, and he falls behind Bartlett, 3-1. Bartlett, the number 9 man, to be followed by Akinori Iwamura, the top of the order, then B.J. Upton. Bartlett fouls it off down near the shoe tops, and it's a full count.
That's just shows you how hard Jenks is throwing and how difficult he might be to hit. You would think right there, 3-1 count, you're down 2 runs leading off the inning. You might take a pitch right there because you know you're going to get the same thing on 3-2. But if you got a guy so overpowering, you go ahead and take your chance when you know exactly what he's got to throw.
The payoff pitch to Jason Bartlett. Bartlett fouls it off down the right field line, back and out of play. Well, Bobby Jenks, in his first year in the big leagues with the White Sox, part of their championship team back in 05, had 6 saves the end of that year. 41 in 06, 40 in 07, and 30 this season as the closer for the White Sox. Bartlett pops it up left side of the Chicago infield. Orlando Cabrera, the wind knocks it back, and he makes the catch. Let's go to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Ernie.
Yeah, quick update on what's going on at Fenway Park. Josh Beckett, of course, making the start, gave up a leadoff double to Sean Figgins on the first pitch of the game, struck out Garrett Anderson, struck out Mark Teixeira, walked Vlad Guerrero, 2-2 to Torrey Hunter. If you want to watch that, it's on TNT right now. But I know you got stuff going on right here on TBS. Back to you, Don.
Thanks so much, Ernie, as Akinori Iwamura stands in with 1 out, bases empty. He grounds it back to Jenks, who snares it and throws him out. 2 down.
Well, you can see right there why Bobby Jenks is so valuable. 1, he can field his own position, but 2, because he throws so hard, he doesn't walk many people, and hitters are aggressive. And so he gets a first pitch ground out right here.
The White Sox backs have been to the wall so many times this season, having to play that makeup game, the 1-game playoff. Down 2-0 in this series. 1 out away now as B.J. Upton takes ball 1. It was Upton's 2-run home run in the 7th inning that brought the Rays back within 2. They have not scored since. Two 2-0 as Jenks falls behind Upton. On the ground and through into left field. B.J. Upton with a big base hit with 2 outs. It'll bring the tying run to the plate, and that's all you want is a chance for the Rays. And that's what they're going to get here with their power hitting first baseman Carlos Pena coming up. A big hit in the 2nd into the ball game for B.J. Upton.
Now the drama starts right here. Pena coming to the plate. You're going to have the shift, and Upton's starting to get hot. That's going to help that Rays lineup.
Rays have been so clutch as they have come from behind in their victories in each of the first 2 games of this series.
Now you look at the outfielders, they backed up because they're playing what we call in baseball no doubles. You want to cut off a ball in the gap and not allow Pena to have a double and be in scoring position.
Carlos Pena in his career against the White Sox closer Bobby Jenks is 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Upton takes off at first as Pena fouls it back to the screen.
In that situation right there, you want to, Pena's going to get his pitch to hit, you let him hit. He knew a fastball was coming. Yeah, you'd love to have Upton at second base, but you get that pitch, you're looking for this guy to drive a ball to the ballpark.
Upton off again as Pena fouls it off again, and it's 0-2. So this time Jenks ahead, 0-2 of Carlos Pena.
See, I still think you got to be aggressive and you force the issue like they're doing right here. You get the runner to second base because you don't want the force. That's why he's running. I think that defensive indifference, they have to throw that garbage out of baseball because he's forcing a play here to happen. And they all of a sudden reward him for not playing defense.
The 0-2 pitch to Carlos Pena. Upton off again, and Pena strikes out looking. The White Sox live to see another day. Able to take game 3 of the series in impressive fashion as Bobby Jenks wraps it up in the 9th inning. So the White Sox able to come away with the victory here in game 3 of the series. And they will see game 4. Dwayne Wise big again. Huge for Chicago Herald here in Chicago to get it done.
Oh, that's a big win right there. They came out and they did what they wanted to do. They needed to score runs and got the defense.
The final again, 5-3. Ozzie Guillen's ready for game 4 tomorrow. From Chicago, he sent it to Boston, and Chip Carey, Buck Martinez, and Craig Sager.